over the last few years.
Good evening, I'm Hugo Chambray. Xavi Simons has been announced as a Spurs player, despite having agreed personal terms with Chelsea earlier this summer. Thomas Frank says the €60 million signing has good experience, having played a lot of games at the top level for Leipzig.
Better access to drivers, improved content on social media, and tapping into the US market have given F1 a massive boost in both attention and revenues. But is everyone happy? The fans certainly are, as evidenced by Drive to Survive. Almost 7 million people per season have tuned in to get all the gossip and all the drama from the paddock. The extra exposure means the drivers can demand a higher salary too. In 2010, the top drivers were earning $20 million a year, which isn't bad. But now, the very best earn 3 times that, with Max Verstappen getting a whopping $65 million in 2025. But money doesn't always buy happiness. Some drivers, including Verstappen, don't like the pageantry the changes have brought about. In Las Vegas in 2023, Verstappen said the drivers were made to look like clowns, and the event was 99% performance and 1% race. Some purists who still watch the sport feel the same, and that the spirit of competition has suffered. But Formula One and Liberty Media don't look like slowing down anytime soon. So expect more races, major events and exclusive access in future.
Brilliant. I ask, I receive.
Brittany.
This is the Transfer Insiders with me, Majestic, and broadcaster and Man United fan Flex. As we requested earlier, Britney Spears sometimes. Because sometimes Ruben Amorim can see himself being at Man United for decades.
Yeah.
Sometimes he loves his players. But sometimes he hates his players. Sometimes he wants to quit. So we are dedicating this song to Ruben Amorim.
Sometimes.
Pump it up, turn it up. This is for Ruben. Come on.
There's things about me you just have to know. Sometimes I run. Sometimes
What's going on at my club?
You've become a meme.
Why is this happening, man?
The 1999 Bayern Munich. Oh, it's 2-1 Man United. Teddy Sheringham. It's turned into a meme, mate. It's turned into a meme. And for once, I can laugh as a Spurs fan. Beat you 4 times last year.
And that as well. This is what I mean. Like from every angle. Like I had Grimsby fans, messaging me saying, can we play you every year and play every week? Sorry.
There's a fish and chip shop in Grimsby that have their stuff tonight, and it says Cod, haddock, Manchester United, all come battered.
Yeah.
All come battered. This is the Transfer Insiders. And tonight on talkSPORT 2 at 8 p.m. in the Championship, there's exclusive commentary of 7th against 5th as Leicester host Birmingham. And with the team's news, it's your match commentator, Jim Proudfoot.
Yes, good evening, Madge. One change for each team in this Midlands derby. Leicester recalls Steffi Mavididi after injury in place of Jeremy Monga. But another one of the Fox's 16-year-olds, Louis Page, does start. Still no place in the 20 for El Canoes, who Marty Cifuentes described as being not mentally ready to play last week. And now, even though his potential move to Palace has collapsed, he's still absent. Blues are without last season's top scorer Jay Stansfield after his ankle injury in the late stages of their shock League Cup exit to Port Vale. So Lewis Kumas comes in for his league debut for the club after his loan move from Liverpool. And Alex Cochrane is fit enough to return to the bench. So Leicester have Stalacic in goal, Chowdhury, Okoli, Vestergaard and Thomas, Skip and Samare, Fatawu, Page and Mavididi behind Ayew. Allsop's in goal for Birmingham, who make 1 change to last week, but 9 to the side that went out of the cup. Asai, Samuel, Neumann, Clara and Laird across the back. Williamson, Paik, Iwata and former Leicester Premier League winner Damari Gray in midfield, with Kumas in support of Kyogo up front. We've got the whole game live on talkSPORT 2. Another former champion, Mark Albrighton's with me, and the build-up's underway right now ahead of an 8 o'clock kickoff.
Thank you very much, Jim. That is Leicester against Birmingham and is exclusive on talkSPORT 2. We've had a message here from Ryan. He said, for God's sake, Madge, I had that song stuck in my head ever since you mentioned it, and now it's going to be in there all night.
I hate you for that.
Sorry, Ryan. We're looking at this positive move that Spurs made in the transfer window with Xavi Simons. Yet to see what he's going to be like in the Premier League. There's a lot to wait on that. It's a complete different ball game in the Premier League, as we know. But one thing that we can look at the difference between Manchester United and Spurs is, of course, after that emotional victory with Big Ange, rather than going again with him like you did with Ten Hag, got rid of him, new guy in, here's his philosophy, adaptability, can change it up. And you look at the polar opposite of Ruben Amorim and the fact he is not, excuse the pun, tactically flexible.
I'm walking out of it.
Yeah. You know, is that going to be... I think that we are at a place now where we have seen the end of this. I'm a manager with a philosophy. I can name you three off the bat. Ange, Russell Martin, Ruben Amorim. Yeah. Of course, Ange won the Europa League, but against all of his philosophy.
Yeah.
You go and look at Frankfurt, you look at all of the games, like the final, it wasn't Ange ball, it was win football ball.
Just find a way to win.
Yeah.
And that is the currency, right? Wins. Man United's, DNA is winning. It isn't, aligned to a specific formation. Yeah, we attribute United to, wingers and, but just playing on the front foot, entertaining, and trying to win football matches at all costs, And that is what's letting Ruben Amorim down. Now, I'm not going to be revisionist and say I didn't want Ruben Amorim to stay after the cup final in Europe. I did, because I thought, listen,
give him a summer.
Give him a summer. He's been saying that I need time on the training field with his players and etc. Which managers do need that. You do need that. Should he have shown more instead of finishing 15th? Absolutely. Very lucky to keep his job. But considering what he came into, and that's what you can't accuse Man United fans of being, is sort of overreactionary and sort of calling for his head too soon. So I was sort of in the mindset of that. But also what you can't do is rid the manager of any responsibility, Madge. You can't, if you're going to stick to your principles and die on that hill, when it goes wrong, you don't get to shy away from that. You don't get to, and you can't make excuses for him. You have to be strong as a fan and say, well, he told us that the storm's coming, which that statement got him loads of credit, because do you know what we started to do as United fans? We sort of say, listen, we're 15th, but he did say this was going to happen. Yeah. He set us up. He's had a look at us and said, it's going to get worse before it gets better. So you go, you know what? I don't want to be a reaction. Let me get behind this man. So you don't get to say that. Then on the last day of the season against Villa, when we beat them for no reason, by the way, just beat them for no reason, just to mess them up. We just lost to you in the final. We just go and beat Villa for no reason, right? Then he says, first I said the storm's coming. The storm has come, or whatever. Now I'll say the good times are coming. That's the last thing he said to us. Yeah. The good times are coming.
And the good times, Grimsby.
And look, now we hit a new record low. So what do you expect fans to do? And then you're saying these stuff in the press conference.
Let's go over to the phone lines. Let's hear from the fans. Let's go hear from Kenny, who's a Man United fan. Good evening, Kenny.
Good evening, lads.
How's it going, Kenny?
Not bad. I'm a United fan. So.
Yeah, exactly. Mate.
But I'm going to try and keep my temper over this, because we have a squad. Not just a team, a squad of entitled little boys who think they've achieved things in the game. Kobe Mainoo, I want to move because I want to play football. How about trying to when you've got a United shirt on?
I think that's harsh. No, Kenny, what's
no.
Kobe done?
Go on, Ken, finish.
Let me finish.
Go on, Kenny.
He's having the pace set by a manager who comes out and says, sometimes I want to leave, sometimes I want to stay. Where's the stomach for the fight?
That's true.
If anybody thinks that it's a formation that let us down against Grimsby or in other games, they're in dreamland. This squad aren't good enough. I've said it for about 6 or 7 years now. If these players were on the free market and none of them were at United, how many of you would target and say, let's go and get Diego Dallo, let's go and get any of them? Any of them.
Well, ironically, Kenny,
Manchester United
sitting at Barcelona.
Ironically, I think Mainoo is one of them that I'd actually look at and go, he's a player you could identify as someone that could do a thing. I think for Kobe Mainoo he's been brought in, and it was Ten Hag that brought him in, right? And he's done really well for Man United. Got that move into England, starter for England in the Euros.
Sorry, I know. Sorry to interrupt, but Kobe Mainoo had about 6 or 7 good games when he first started because he was keen. He had a point to prove. He's fell into the fat cat syndrome, and he's
Kenny.
He fell into the Garnachos of the world, the Rashfords of the world.
Kenny, I'm sorry, Kenny. That I think I completely disagree with you on the Kobbie Mainoo situation. Do you know why, Kenny? Do you know I agree with you in terms of players' attitudes and their egos can get to them really, really quickly. But let's break down this Kobbie Mainoo situation like properly, right? Our manager has said that Bruno Fernandes now is out of his best position and put him into central midfield, which is not where he's supposed to be playing, right? And our manager says that Kobbie Mainoo has to compete for his place in the squad with the undroppable captain who stunk the place out against Fulham and doesn't get taken off the pitch. So then if you're Kobbie Mainoo and you're a central midfielder by trade and you're not competing against Casemiro, who's passed it, you're not competing with Ugarte, who can't pass, and can just run after people, and you've been told that you're gonna all you can do is compete with the player who's undroppable, who shouldn't even be playing in your position. What's he supposed to think?
Listen, I think Kobbie Mainoo is the best midfielder at the club. What I'm saying is his attitude stinks.
How?
Yeah, but I think that Kenny, from the outside looking in, I think it's the way that he's been dealt with.
100%.
And this is my issue with Ruben Amorim.
Another entitled child in charge.
No, but again, this is my problem with Ruben Amorim, right? If you looked at Garnacho and Rashford on their days, say if they were on fire, like the Garnacho that we've seen.
On their days, Rashford had one good season. Garnacho's had about 12 good games.
Yeah, but those 12 good games and the one good season Rashford has had, right? They would arguably be as good, if not better, than Mbeumo and Cunha, in my opinion, right? And so I think this manager...
I don't think they're the answer either. You rebuild a club, we need a new keeper, we need two good
the keeper situation. Listen, it all starts with the manager. Like, the fact that the manager's coming out with sometimes I want to quit and all that kind of stuff. Then you've got a keeper who you can't rely on, two keepers you can't rely on.
He's not playing. He hasn't started him in the first
place. Why are we rebuilding from the front when we leak like a sieve at the back?
Well, but I'll tell you why, Kenny, though. And this is the problem, what we've got, right? There's so many problems at Man United. What we can't agree on is where to start. We scored 44 Premier League goals last year. Do you know the only team who scored more than us, but they didn't go down? Less than us is Everton. Yeah. The rest of the teams went down. And when you looked at what we conceded probably about, I think, 50 odd, something like that, which is in line with some of the teams that are sort of at the top of the table. So I actually don't blame them for saying, mate, we can't score. No. There was a lot of games last year where Man United were looking comfortable because we got 5 defenders on the pitch. You know, they're all in the U shape.
Toothless.
But there's nothing up front. So I don't blame them for that. But where you are right, Kenny, is you also have to know that Onana is not it. Bayindir is not it. You're asking for trouble. You need a central midfielder. So we were right to get those attackers, though.
Brilliant call, Kenny. Thank you.
Nice one, Kenny.
So much to dive into tonight. Man United fan play.
This is what I mean. There's so many problems, Imagine. It's like, why have we done that? No, we scored 44 goals.
But I just don't think...
And now Kobbie Mainoo's the problem.
Mainoo's not the problem.
Come on, man.
But this is because you're trying to identify the problem, and the problem always has to start and end with the manager. And the fact of the matter is, when you are...
His decisions.
Yeah, they're his decisions.
His decisions.
Like, for example, go back to the Europa League final, because we can both relate to that, because we were both in it. Garnacho, someone that I watch as a player and I'm scared of, like, looking back, coming on and, like, you know, didn't utilise him. The players that weren't utilised in that final, I was just like, what is these decisions? That makes no sense.
Make no sense.
Don't forget, the latest episode of talkSPORT Daily podcast is available now as Alex Crook and Flex delve into all the Manchester United's problems following their defeat to Grimsby. It's safe to say there wasn't much positivity around the manager, and you can hear Flex descend into a full-blown rant about, it's not like you, mate, about Ruben Amorim on the talkSPORT Daily podcast, available now on all the usual podcast platforms, as well as the talkSPORT app. And sometimes I love this show. It's talkSPORT.
Request.
You tell me you're in love with me.
It's the Transfer Insiders with me, Majestic, and very
I'm calm now. I'm calm.
happy Manchester United broadcaster and fan, Flex. And the only thing coming out of Manchester this year with a bit of success is, of course, the boys, Liam and Noel. Oasis, and it is our biggest competition to date, has launched today. We're giving you the chance to win Oasis tickets, plus a whopping 25 grand, our kid. 2 lucky winners, not 1 but 2, will win a pair of Oasis tickets when they return to Wembley on the 27th of September. Plus, that's not all. Alongside the tickets, we're giving you the chance to win a whopping 25 grand. For all the details on how to enter this amazing competition, listen up now, our kid.
18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word Oasis to 83338 and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission. Or you can enter for free by calling 0330 880 338. All entries must be received by the 19th of September at 9 a.m. This is a talkSPORT limited promotion run on talkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
Good luck if you're entering that. Hopefully, I might see you at Wembley for those gigs. Try and nick myself a couple of tickets to see our kids.
Go see Oasis.
Go see Oasis. Let's go back to the phone lines. Chris is a Man United fan. He joins us on the show. Good evening, Chris.
Evening, Chris.
How you doing, gentlemen? You okay?
Yeah, not bad. How are you feeling about the weekend ahead? Are you anxious playing Burnley?
Not really, if I'm honest with you, because, you know, we should beat them. We should beat them, regardless of what's ever gone on. Obviously, the Arsenal game did see a bit of improvement there. Then, obviously, Fulham, just the first half played really well. It just went away, and then the Grimsby Town game was just a disgrace. But I think, a couple of things. I think the last caller who was talking about Kobe Mainoo, I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know. He doesn't sound like a proper Man United. He's just... I mean, to say that his Kobe Mainoo's attitude. I mean, unless he's his best friend, how does he know what Kobe Mainoo is going on? And I do believe there's a narrative against these young black United players that it's all about their attitude, and I think that drags on from Pogba and the Lingard days. And
do you know what, Chris? That is sometimes an undercurrent even that we saw with Jed Spence before he broke into the Spurs team about like attitudes, and in actual fact, he's quite a reserved chap.
Absolutely. Well, it's like the confidence. You want to knock the confidence. Look at Miles Lewis-Skelly. It's like arrogant. Don't be doing all that.
But sometimes, Chris, I don't even think it's necessarily just like a young black player thing. It's a very much a British thing not to be sort of outgoing and like backing yourself. We don't do it as British people, do we? It's like someone gets a nice car, look at him, you flash so and so, and very much some of these young lads, they get a bit of money, and they like to express themselves with clothes and stuff, and that's when I think the criticism comes. But there's definitely an undercurrent.
And Kobe as well, Chris. I agree with you. Like Kobe is like the most reserved character. Like I've been around him, you know, away from the game in LA and stuff like that when he was doing some stuff with some kids on down Venice Beach. Like he is so chilled, and this isn't motivated by money. This is actually motivated by ambition. That's why he wants to leave, because he's looking at, like, you know, according to David Ornstein, he doesn't want to leave on a permanent. He wants to leave on loan. Why? He's not in the England squad. He's just had a taste of what it's like to play in the Euros, and he's got no assurance of our manager that he's going to play football.
I was just about to say, it's not as if he's throwing these toys out the pram and saying I wanted to leave like Ganacho and everyone else. He's actually saying, you know what, I love Man United, I just need to play football. Absolutely. I'll go out on loan, let me just play football. But the second thing I want to add, and I know I'm going to get a bit of criticism here, but Gareth Southgate.
What about him?
I think...
What about him, Chris?
You've seen what we all saw what he did with the England team, where we weren't getting to semi-finals, we weren't getting over the line, etc. And you can talk about making changes. He didn't make the changes, and he left it late. But however, he was one of these managers that did change the formation, did change profile. He brought a good spirit to the team and the dressing room, and everyone wanted to play for him. And
do you know what, Chris?
That's what we're missing.
Chris, what you've identified there is absolutely correct, and you know it is a broken dressing room. It still feels like, anyway. Gareth Southgate went into probably the most toxic England camp ever after that whole thing with Roy and the embarrassment that we had. He's definitely someone that could...
Can we bring him in as player liaison officer, please?
No. Just to go back on what Chris said as well, in regards to, sometimes it's a bit of a profiling thing.
Yeah.
He said, what about Garnacho? And he's absolutely right. That's what I'm talking about, the young, flamboyant players that might want to be in LA, or I saw Garnacho at Ibiza Airport, got the big AP on, These are young lads. Louis V's everywhere.
100%. And that's normal to them, right? They've got that on like Nike. And the thing is that I think when you're from a different generation, you look at that and you're saying, a lot of people in this space will go, if you're not playing well, don't be out there all loud and braggadocious at Carnival or Wireless or doing all this. But there is a new age footballer where they're like, I'm still going to enjoy my life.
And not just that, they are, in this day and age, personal brands.
Yeah.
So they might even be fulfilling other brand commitments at the same time, which I know to football fans does not sound like something they want to hear, but that is the reality. Great call. Thank you very much, Chris. Let's go over to Mike,
Chris,
who's a Man United fan. How are you, Mike?
Hello, mate. You okay?
Yeah, not bad at all. What's your thoughts on what's going on with the manager at the moment?
I think there's a lot of panic about 3 results at the start of the season, that if we'd have identified and got what the manager wanted in a new keeper, we'd be sat in a much better position.
So do you think
keeper to blame for?
You think they're going
keeper to blame for the Arsenal goal?
Mm.
I just think it's time to just realise that we're 3 games into the season. I understand the Grimsby result is atrocious. However, in my opinion, in a game and a half in the Premier League, we've seen massive shoots of recovery in terms of performance and looking better as a whole, and he's and a position that he's identified as being one that he wants to strengthen, and we haven't, has cost us in both games, in my opinion.
Mm. I completely agree with that, and I think you look at any great football team, it starts with a keeper. I know you're way off from winning the Premier League, right? But, the teams that win the Premier League, go and have a look at their goalkeepers, all top keepers, right? Even Arsenal in Ramsdale had a good keeper, and they levelled up again to David Raya, who's one of the best in the league right now. And I think, Mike's absolutely right in terms of that keeper position. Like, you know what I would have done? As soon as there was wind that Donnarumma was going Man City, I would have got Edison and done a reverse of Tevez.
It's like all the money was gone.
I know.
But this is the thing, though. We did need a new strike force. I mean, Mike, I do 100% take your point in terms of the keeper situation. Like, it's clear as
I
day.
think the keeper situation at Manchester United is an emergency.
Yeah, no, it is.
It's an emergency.
Absolutely, because they're both throwing it in the net, and they're not. And, Tom Heaton's probably the best keeper we got, and he can't even get a game. But, Mike, when you say, like, it is only 3 games into the season, I do hear you on that. But also, we can't act like last season didn't happen. We can't act like we didn't have a decent pre-season. The manager sort of saying, I've got more time in the training field. So we expect these kind of traits to be gone. He's nearly had 50 games. Like we're nearly 50 games in, I think, because we're a really patient fan base. We've finished 15th and drawn a line under it, but we can't forget that it happened.
But you can't deny that we've been better in the 2 Premier League games than we were last year. So,
but we played well. We were better for 35 minutes against Fulham, and then the same old traits came in. Arsenal, is there not an argument to say that we're just raising it against the big teams? Because you look at last year where we finished 15th, we beat City away, we raised it away at Anfield, we beat Arsenal in the FA Cup. Is there not a suggestion that maybe these players just get up for it for the big games?
15 games into, but you're not going to know that until 10, 15 games into the season, are you? If we're backing him, we've got to back him for 10, 15, 20 games. We've backed him with money. We've backed him with the players he wants.
Let it ride out.
Get off this cycle of sack. We've got to get off this cycle of sacking managers.
Even if we can see that the signs ain't good and we're going nowhere.
All the successful teams you're talking about, Liverpool, prior to
Arsenal, etc.
Arsenal, I wouldn't say successful because they don't win anything, but of all.
But you would swap your place.
But I hear that. But this is where, again, we can't talk out of both sides of our mouth, because you're right. You're basically saying you've got to stick with something. Like, they stuck with Arteta, he finished 8th. But, mate, it weren't 15th. Like, it wasn't, like, they still showed something. Like,
I know, but I do think last year was an anomaly for Man United and Spurs. And I do feel that he's got the players that he wants in now. It's a bit of a slow start and a difficult set of fixtures to come.
10, 15 games then. Is that what we're saying?
I think Mike's right. 03717 223344. Look, it is the Transfer Insider. There's a lot of people going, come on, this is Transfer Insiders. I want to hear about the transfers that's going on. I'm not talking about Man United with Flex all the time. Listen, it's relevant because we're talking about Mainu. Is he on the way out of Manchester United? Garnacho, a young, promising talent.
Talking about we need a keeper.
Kids transfers, you know. And again, you control this show. If you call us on 03717 223344, we will steer the conversation your way and talk about what you want to talk about tonight. It just so happens the Man United fans in their hundreds and hundreds want to talk to us about what's going on. It's Majestic, it's Flex, it's the Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT.
More green jackets have been lost at the 12th than at the Augusta City Dry Cleaners. Rory McIlroy knows this better than most. But what is Amen Corner and why is it so iconic? The famous sequence has always been there since the Masters began in 1934. It didn't get its name until '58 though, when American sports writer Herbert Warren Wint, on the left, wrote, "At the farthest reach of the Augusta National Course, down in the Amen Corner." He drew inspiration from the 1933 jazz song Shouting in That Amen Corner by the Dorsey Brothers. The reason behind its difficulty is all in the sand and the water. Tournament officials don't even bother to count the balls lost in there each year, such is the sheer number. The 11th, named White Dogwood, is a downhill 520-yard par 4 with a pond to the left of the green and a bunker to the right. Both cause a lot of trouble each year. The 12th, Golden Bell, is perhaps the most famous hole in the world, with danger everywhere. Many aim for the flag, but look, get it even slightly wrong, and you're in the azaleas at the back, or the bunkers at the front, or even worse, Rays Creek. Or you can play it safe and aim for the open green on the left. You chicken. Tiger Woods once said, if you make 4 bogeys from Thursday to Sunday, you're doing well. And the highest ever score on that hole? 13. It's a par 3. Tom Weiskopf in 1980 was the sorry soul. Often the iconic Ben Hogan Bridge is the only thing players enjoy about Golden Bell. Even if you escape there unscathed though, you met with Azalea, the dogleg par 5 13th. It tempts players to go for the green in 2, but cut over those trees on the left at your peril. Every year, it seems, Amen Corner destroys someone's dreams. Rory McIlroy dropped 3 shots through here as his round unravelled in 2011. In 2016, a year after navigating Amen Corner expertly, Jordan Spieth shot a quadruple bogey on the 12th to throw away his green jacket. I mean, it sounds like my game, to be honest. So who'll be the next to be brought to their knees, praying for mercy after Amen Corner?
Good evening and welcome to the weekend. It's Friday night here on talkSPORT with me, Majestic, and broadcaster Flex. This is Transfer Insiders, where we'll be giving you the lowdown of all things happening in the transfer market, as on Monday at 7 p.m, the market slams shut with a special deadline transfer day show from 6:30. Of course, kicking off things at 4 p.m. on Drive with Goldstein and Benty. And then Mr. Deadline Day himself, Jim White, will be alongside the talkSPORT chief correspondent Alex Crook for a special Deadline Day show. But right now, as we take your calls on 03717223344, the big news of the day is Tottenham have replaced the number 7 shirt with 22-year-old Xavi Simons, and that is a great bit of business, Flex, and we're going to talk to some Spurs fans in a minute on 03717223344. And we just heard there in the news bulletin from Hugo that Simons mentioned Thomas Frank is one of the big reasons why he moved there, and of course, you know, we're asking what's going wrong at Manchester United. Thomas Frank, pure experience in the Premier League. He's done his hours, and it seems he seems to know how to get the best out of these young players.
Yeah, he does. And it is about adaptability. And Thomas Frank has always been that manager. When he's put in the hard yards at Brentford, everybody felt like he's ready for that step up. He's not an egotistical manager. He explains himself really well. You know, stepping into, doing analysis on Monday Night Football and things like that. And you're going, everybody just likes him. And I think Jamie Carragher said, he's like, there's not many teams in the Premier League who wouldn't like to have Thomas Frank as their manager. Do you know what I mean? And I think actually with how the turmoil at Spurs, obviously a really rejoicing time for Spurs, but they do need this sort of calming character that can understand the landscape and see the wood from the trees and be like, actually, this game needs that. The fan base needs this. They need me to stand up for them. They need me to kind of go in the background. Let me rely on my coaches. You need that sort of character in the Spurs team. And I think you can see he's only been there a little while, but he looks like he's been there a lot longer already.
Yeah. And you know what? Even the way that he knows how to deal with the British press and the British media, it's a huge bonus. The fact that he understands how to deal with some of these maverick young players that we've been talking about. We had a message here about, dealing with some of the players. And, of course, we were talking about different situations for Ruben Amorim. Someone talked about having a patient environment, harvesting these kids' love for the game. And that's
Thomas Frank.
That is exactly Thomas Frank. Not just Thomas Frank, but the people that he puts around him. I've often mentioned on here about Justin Cochran, who are, I know and I've seen him in action from growing up in North London, and someone that will have a direct influence on these young players, and someone that might be able to speak to them in such a way that remove himself from the boss and go, mate, this is your big chance. Don't mess up. Yeah. This is your chance. Because all it takes is someone that you can rely on and respect to tell you that. And sometimes it makes a little sense. You know, we used to talk about the likes of Harry Redknapp being a man manager, getting the best out of Jermaine Defoe, the arm round, God rest his soul, Sir Bobby Robson. When I speak to former players of his, what do they talk about? Listen, someone like Paul Gascoigne would not thrive in this environment nowadays. Amram would sell him.
Oh, be out.
It's chaos.
Be out, yeah. Eric Cantona, these type of maverick players.
Maverick players need someone that they can really, almost like a father figure, put their arm around and go, I'm going to get the best out of him. And that's why I'm really excited to see Xavi Simons. And, of course, can we compare the two signings? Eze, 27, he's 22. listen, as a Premier League proven, one of the highlights of the Premier League in the last couple of seasons, there's no comparison for me. However, in terms of a bit of business, fantastic bit of business in terms of his age.
And that's how far it needs to go. I think in football we are always searching because you took the L in the embarrassing way. You almost want to push back and say, "See, Arsenal fans, now we got the better player. Let's see this. Let's see that."
I'm not going down that route.
You just don't need. It's just not an argument you need to get involved in.
Although I will say, if we do go back to the Euros, it was Declan Rice. He bullied off the ball to get that shot away against England, wasn't it?
Yes, exactly. It was. And listen, so you have got it stalled already.
Yeah.
And as the season goes on, listen, when it gets to the North London derby, it will be about all of that. You know, the same way when Arsenal played Man United, it was all about Sesko and Gyökeres, and the both of them weren't even on the pitch at the same time. So, like, it's an argument that Spurs fans
that alone with Sesko is weird.
Yeah,
that
like
alone.
Just trying to compare it straight away. Like you just don't
straight
need
away.
to.
Why is your main guy not starting?
Eze is a perfect fit for Arsenal and what they're trying to do. Especially now, they're ready to go. He's ready to go. He's an experienced player.
I'll tell you what, straight in the deep end Sunday against Liverpool, and we'll be here on talkSPORT on the back of that, me and Pards. 0371722 Ryan is a Spurs fan. He joins us. Good evening, Ryan.
How you doing, Mad? You all right, mate?
Yeah, very well. It's nice to actually see. I've all day my son's been going to me, Dad, he's coming, he's playing. I'm like, until I see him in that shirt and it's on the Spurs official page.
I didn't want to commit, did you?
No way. When did you believe it was real, or do you still not believe it's been done?
Well, the thing is, there's been loads of talk on social media about even Fabrizio Romano's getting like, even he said here we go about Eze, and it all went absolutely peaked on.
Yeah.
So I was with you. As soon as I saw him in the shirt, that's when I believed it. But yeah, I don't know. Like, all I wanted to say is that there's been a lot of reports about his attitude. As I just heard you guys chatting there, he is a maverick. You know, he's going to have to be managed carefully. I must admit though, Madge, like, what do you think? As a Spurs fan, have you ever seen a manager like do what Thomas Frank has done in this short space of time?
You know what? This is the thing. We have to stop ourselves from getting carried away, because that's what we always get.
With Ange, it was the first 10 games, remember?
Absolutely. But I will say this about Thomas Frank. And again, Ange was liked by the media first 10 games.
Exactly.
But we've seen Thomas Frank in moments where, you know, the back's against the wall with Ivan Toney and selling him, etc., and he remains composed, right? Yeah. That's the one thing that we know about Frank, and this is why he is a great fit for Spurs. And I think sometimes what we do in the Premier League, and we look for the star names and the big signings and this, that, and the other, sometimes it's the people that know the environment the
Eddie
best.
Howe.
Absolutely.
Brilliant example of it.
Thriving.
But it's also about, listen, I think the key thing is always, you know, everyone's raved about it and everyone said it, so I'm literally just going on and on about it, but it's that tactical flexibility. You look at those first three games, like PSG in the Super Cup, Burnley, Man City, he's played three different ways in three different games.
Yeah.
And the one thing that's blown me away is we all know that Spurs have got some of the best young talent in European football right now, but he played two defensive like midfielders in Bentancur, who I think he's in between a 6 and 8, and then you've got Pape Sarr, that I never saw as a 10, by the way, but absolutely running their legs off for him. And at the end of the day, I think for me personally, it's the culture he shifted. You know, Ange come in because Daniel Levy wanted to shift the culture of the club. Ange never did that. Ange got us playing unbelievable, crazy-ass sort of kamikaze football that was exciting, but it weren't sustainable. The one thing about Thomas Frank is that he has got sustainability. He's built Brentford from the ground up, and you look, he's grounding, you look at what he's done. And the fact that someone of Xavi Simons' pedigree, Barcelona, PSV, you know, Leipzig, all of where he's been, has gone, it's the coach that made me come. That says a lot about him being a pull to these young.
Yeah, people want to play for Thomas Frank, and that was sort of, you wonder what the jump up looks like from you know, no disrespect, but you know, little old Brentford to, you know, massive Spurs, European football now, etc. Bigger budget. Heard reports you're going after a Kanji now as well. Like, the intent is there. What I wanted to ask you, Ryan, actually, is because like I said, I did the show when you guys lost out to Eze, and the Spurs fans were ringing up and fuming at Daniel Levy. It's the same thing as always. Look, we don't show any intent. Nothing's changed. On Daniel Levy, does he deserve credit actually with what's happened this summer? I know there's been some mishaps, but when you look at it, it looks like you've got the right manager. You've gone and got Kudus. Look how he started the season. You're getting a tune out of Richarlison now. You've brought in Xavi. There's probably still more to come. Does he deserve credit, or is it too early for that?
So it's a great question. And I think I've got a good enough answer for this. Levy in his early tenure, in his first 10 years, 15 years, relied on himself for a lot of things. He then realised that he couldn't do it all himself. So he got in directors of football, he got in great managers that helped him with it and all that sort of stuff. But the greatest signings he's made is Johan Lang and this Vinay guy. Because it takes the pressure away from him. At the end of the day, he's the one that signs the checks. He's the one that's got to get it over the line. But he also knows from a sustainability perspective what he's going to say yes to and what he's not going to say yes to. I think with the Eze thing, I think Spurs already knew that Arsenal were always his number one. And at the end of the day, as soon as Arsenal come in, they knew that they weren't going to be able to get it over the line. And as Thomas Frank said, I don't want a player that does not want to put on that blue and white at Spurs. Well, I don't want it. And the big thing for me now is even Paratici coming back. You look at Paratici, brought in Kulusevski, brought in Bentancur, Romero, like those players. And I just think Levy's now finally trusting people to make better football decisions. Remember, Johan Lang works in the dark. He works in the absolute shadows. That he doesn't want anyone. If media sort of comments come about who Spurs want, he hates it because he wants to have it 95% of the way there before it even becomes public knowledge. So I think Simmons was a long line of players that we wanted. Did we want Simmons more than we wanted Eze? No, I don't think we did. But it's more of a punt on Simmons because of his lack of Premier League experience. He's got the talent.
Well, I'll tell you what, right? He inherits the number 7 shirt, and 10 years ago to this last couple of days, we had a punt from a lad from the Bundesliga called Heung-min Son, and it didn't end too badly with him, did it, Ryan? Who's
that player that turned up to training ground? Was it Berahino or something?
Odemwingie.
No, it wasn't Odemwingie. It was another West Brom. Anyway, it don't matter. I think it was Saido Berahino.
It was Berahino that we were after.
Berahino, right, okay, yeah.
No, you're right. That literally just turned up, and because we didn't get him over the line, we got him in song. And listen, if there is not a statue in the next year for that player, because I hope the fact that he's so understated, I really hope his understatedness doesn't not get him a statue, because him and Kane, for the number one Premier, the goals and assists record, for the things that they've done for our club. Kane never brought us a trophy, but Son did. You look at what those two players have done for Spurs, and Madge, you must be shaking your head saying they are probably two of the greatest legends of our generation.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm glad to see Sonny do well in LA. Thank you very much, Ryan. That's Ryan, a Spurs fan. He's very happy with this Simmons signing. Sorry,
I'm not used to it. Like Spurs fans being happy. What's happening?
You still won't find people being happy with Daniel Levy. I can probably get you 5. I'll get 5 callers now. One of them will be Angry Matt. Angry Matt, who says I get my tickets bought for me. Matt, give us a call, Matt. I want to hear from Matt, actually. Matt, give us a call if you're listening, mate. I want to see what you think of the signing. There's still to come. We're going to be talking about Thomas Tuchel's England squad, which, of course, does not have Phil Foden or Trent Alexander-Arnold, but some seriously good first caps and call-ups for the likes of Jed Spence. Give us a call, 03717 22 344. It's Magis Flex. It's Friday night. It's the Transfer Insiders. Good evening, it's the Transfer Insiders here on talkSPORT with me, Majestic, alongside broadcaster Flex. And over on talkSPORT 2, there's live commentary of the Leicester against Birmingham City game in the Championship, and the Foxes lead 1-0 after 20 minutes. Abdul Fatawar with the goal. Don't forget that is live and exclusive on talkSPORT 2. Right, it's time to talk about Thomas Tuchel as he names his 24, not 26, 24-man England squad for the World Cup qualifiers against Andorra and Serbia. Blockbuster games, then one, Flex.
Well, mate, the last time against Andorra, it wasn't great, was it?
It wasn't great at all. Trent Alexander-Arnold has been left out of Thomas Tuchel's latest England squad with call-ups for uncapped duo Elliot Anderson and Jed Spence. The Nottingham Forest midfielder Anderson and Tottenham's fullback Spence get their first call-ups. The Everton winger Jack Grealish misses out. Let's start with the call-ups. Absolutely deserved by the pair of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
As simple as.
Yeah, I think they've been excellent. And they really, really deserve it. I'm really pleased for Elliot Anderson because he's like one of these central midfielders that, like, if you don't watch properly, you might go, "Oh, I don't really know about it. What does he do?"
What does he do?
He's not the Declan Rice, or he's not on the ball like Eze and these types of players. But his engine is excellent. He's good on the ball. He can find a pass. He's honest. He's at it. He can play with intensity, and I think that's the sort of player you want to see getting given a chance. And as for Jed Spence, mate, he's been unreal. He's been unreal, and he's had to be so patient. You know, from when he was in the playoff finals with Forest, gets the move to Spurs, he goes on loan in France, not getting a look in, comes back, not getting played for ages. I think even under Ange.
Yeah, it was a strange time for him.
Strange time, loads of injuries, just bide his time. Plays left, plays right, and actually, one of the first times I saw him, like when he. I went to your stadium and we played you in the Carabao Cup final.
Oh, yeah.
Not Carabao Cup final. In the Carabao Cup game when it was the two keepers.
Yeah.
When it was Bayern and who was your
Wow.
Battle of the Wallies that day. And I saw what Jed Spence was doing, I think, to Anthony. Listen, I know that's the competition's not there, but I saw him on my side and I said to my Spurs mate, I said,
good.
Jeez.
Fearless.
Like, he's at it.
And he can play both sides. And
both sides
great to have that
comfortably,
competition with him and O'Doggy, and then cover for Poro as well. There are recalls for Marcus Rashford, Adam Wharton and Jared Bowen, while 35-year-old Jordan Henderson is once again included.
That's the head scratcher.
What, Henderson?
Yeah, I mean, I know he's done it already, and he probably wants a bit of experience in there and that, but...
Just sign him up to your coaching team. Can you do that now? Can you just be part of the coaching team?
I mean, look, what was it under Gareth? I remember when Connor Cody went. And, I get it. You need some characters in there and keep training at a decent standard, etc. I get it, but not for me.
There's no place for Kyle Walker, who's 35. His former Manchester City teammate Phil Foden, Trevor Chalobah, and our Halil striker Ivan Toney all miss out as well. The Phil Foden one, we've got to look at that. Phil Foden has got to be having a look at his career. He was player of the season. Was it 2 years ago?
Year before last, yeah.
Yeah. Winning the treble. He's absolutely on fire. And right now, he's in the wilderness.
Mate, honestly, like, the way I've spoken about Phil Foden at times, right, I'll be honest, for me, when I see him in, like, full pelt, right, I'm like, I think he's the most talented English player since Rooney in terms of, like, his ability, how good he is. This was obviously before, like, the emergence of Cole Palmer, and there's different conversations, and, you know, Jude Bellingham's burst through, but, like, in terms of the way he can play the game, how technically sound he is, how he can take the ball, how he can glide past people. But his problem has been consistency. I think he's had obviously a really good grounding at City where they've not let him go out on loan. They've let him learn off the best people like David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne. He has to wait his chance. And he started taking it and he's just fallen off a cliff from the PFA.
That 23-24 season in the Premier League alone, 19 goals in 35 appearances, 5 assists.
Excellent.
You know, that is top.
But here's the thing. Though, he's never done it at England level, for me.
But
he's always gone missing.
Is the argument the fact that he's sometimes never played in the right place for England?
No, I think he's played on the right. He's played in the 10. Remember in the Euros, I get him in the 10. He had to go.
Desperate for it.
But when you look at someone like Saka, mate, just play me.
Yeah, Saka always turns
England's
up.
most consistent and effective player. So, and he don't get respect he deserves. Meanwhile, Phil Foden is the blue-eyed boy, and it's like
I do think Saka does get the respect from England fans. Even me as a Spurs fan, you cannot doubt Saka.
Unreal.
And how good he is for England.
But that shows how good he is, because he's doing it club and country. And I think where Phil probably let himself down is that anytime he's got a look in at England, even when he was smashing it the PFA season, when he got that award, it's like,
is it time for him to leave Manchester City? He doesn't look like he's in the plans.
He's not getting in. He looks like he could be heading the same way as Grealish.
25. So this is the age.
25 already.
25 already. Flown by, innit?
I mean, I'm not saying that's old, but like, because he's been around a while, the years. So I mean, they go really fast, and I think if he has another bad season this year,
we're hearing people that are 27 getting called old now.
100%.
So it's like 25. You're like, wow.
And especially at City, where it can move so quickly. So you look at, Savinho, Doku, Ryan Cherki's in there now. You got Marmoush who can play centrally. De Bruyne's gone. You got Reinders in there making late runs. He can play in as an advanced midfielder if he needs to. The game will pass him by. Bernardo Silva's still there. Gundogan, I know they're a little bit past it, but the game will pass him by, and he'll find his opportunity scarce. So you're right. He has to have a look at it, man, and got to get himself going quick. Absolutely. Or he's not going to be on the plane.
Real Madrid midfielder Jude Bellingham is out for injury alongside who we mentioned, Bukayo Saka, Cole Palmer, and Levi Colwill. England boss Thomas Tuchel explained his reasons for leaving big names like Jack Grealish and Trent Alexander-Arnold out of his squad.
First of all, we decided for a tighter squad, for a bit more competitive squad. We didn't use all 23 players to make it more competitive to be in the squad. There is no doubt that I'm a big fan of Trent and of Jack, of both of their talent and of their personalities. They are big players. They will always be big players, and they will always be in the mix to be called up. I know that both of them are desperate to come back, which is really important. But for this camp, we decided on Trent's position for Reece and for Tino Livramento, simply out of competition. And we decided on Jack's position for Rashi, for Anthony, and for Ebbs.
That is the England boss, Thomas Tuchel, talking about the absentees of Jack Grealish and Trent. What did you make of what you had to say there?
Yeah, I mean, it just shows, right? You go to Real Madrid after all of the noise that's happened, and I really want Trent to do well there. I think he's a top player. But it just goes to show, like, if you get displaced and you're having a bit of a difficult time, you're not an automatic starter. These young kids, look at Tino Livramento against Liverpool. On it, exceptional. You look at like the hunger of Jed Spence. Reece James, of course, is always going to get that noise. He's a competent, very, very good defender, and obviously Thomas Tuchel knows him so well. So for Trent, that's another eye opener. I think, listen, there's time. There's a lot of time. He's gone to a new surroundings, learning a new language at a club the size of Real Madrid. It's going to take time, but you ain't got much time, mate. You got to start getting games quick, because Dani Carvajal's now sniffing around it. And if you find yourself out of that team for more often than not, you ain't going.
Message here from Darren says, after their performances for their country last time out, no Curtis Jones or Harvey Elliott. It's surprising.
Yeah, and Jones is doing well as well. He's starting games for Liverpool. And so I mean, the competition. So that's what I'm saying. So when you look at someone like Jordan Henderson, I'm looking at that and I'm like,
well, do you know what probably doesn't help some of the
Adam Wharton's been amazing.
Some of the so-called bigger names, right? Is the likes of Forest, Bournemouth, Palace, all doing well.
They're doing well.
Because you're looking at them now. Before, there were so many players being overlooked.
And they're getting a look in, like, just because I play for Palace, it doesn't mean I'm not going to get a look in for England. Just because I'm playing for Forest, I'm not getting a look in for England. And that actually is refreshing, because that's what we want, right? 100%. We want it to be off meritocracy.
Well, we see it during the whole golden era. The big boys stayed, even when they underperformed, and there were so many good players in the Premier League at the time that didn't get their chance. Over on talkSPORT 2, there's exclusive championship commentary. Leicester host Birmingham. It's currently 1-0 to the hosts. And we can now join the action with former Fox's Premier League title winner Mark Albrighton and your match commentator Jim Proudfoot.
They have had the advantage for the last 20 minutes. Abdul Fatawu are making the most of some indecision from a combination of Paik and Laird. Laird, the player at fault really for Birmingham. Fatawu pinged the ball in beautifully. Birmingham trying to get Furuhashi in on the edge of the penalty area. Shot comes in on the turn. Willemsen trying to control it. Now Asai Samuel on the right-hand side of the penalty areas. We welcome listeners from talkSPORT here at the King Power. Leicester lead by a goal to nil. Abdul Fatawu on 8 minutes. Birmingham City trying to respond here with Clara. And Amari Gray, the former Leicester player, who's had a couple of lengthy spells down through injury because of a shoulder problem, has just won his side a throw. Mark Albrighton's watching the game with me. Mark, how would you assess the opening half hour? Is it a deserved lead for your old club?
Yeah, maybe just slightly, ever so slight. I thought Leicester started really well. I thought Birmingham started very sloppy. Birmingham have come into it a lot more since that goal has gone in. I think that obviously the 2 stoppages to Demarai Gray has probably just unsettled the game and not let either team get into any kind of rhythm. I think in that last couple of minutes there, we've probably seen Birmingham's best spell of possession high up in that end of the field. So they'll be looking to do more of that, but Leicester will want to build on what they did in the first sort of 5 or so minutes in this game, because I thought they started really, really well.
Well, Stalacic, the Leicester goalkeeper, hasn't had a meaningful save to make so far. Birmingham haven't had a single attempt for the 40% possession they've had in the opening half hour. Remember, a Blues win and they go top, but it's Leicester who are on top at the moment. The game continues on talkSPORT 2. It's Leicester 1, Birmingham 0.
Right, we're going to be looking at the draws made today in the Europa League and the Conference League. That's coming up next on Transfer Insiders here on talkSPORT. Good evening, it's the Transfer Insiders here on talkSPORT with me, Majestic, and broadcaster man like Flex is with me alongside. It's Friday, the weekend is here. It means the Premier League is back and we'll be delving into the big games of the weekend, of course, talking points, Arsenal and Liverpool. This could be like a title decider, 3 games in.
That early. You know when they say the game is not, the league is not won and lost in August, well, but I dare any of them to lose that. Each fan base will, well, definitely Arsenal.
Oh, nobody is going to want to lose that game because that is high stakes and high pressure. I can't wait
to watch it as a neutral just to see like all the different battles.
Well, yeah, also like to get a real sort of understanding of where these teams are at, because we've seen Gyökeres the other day, absolutely brilliant against Leeds, great goal, finished the penalty brilliant, had the mask out and the celebration.
Yeah.
But he's supposed to smash Leeds at home.
Yeah, when he got roughed up by De Ligt and in the pocket, you go, all right, first game, but I'll tell you what, is that a sign? Now you're going to be up against Van Dijk and Konate. Let's have a look. Florian Wirtz, Ekitike. You're going to be up against Saliba.
Ekitike looks like the guy that I saw for Frankfurt last season that came to Spurs. He's just got this ability of just cutting inside, low shot. It's like speciality. It is so precise.
Yeah. And he was excellent against Newcastle. One thing I liked about Newcastle is that the atmosphere was so combustible, but he was like a cool character. He's winding them up. He's getting pushed. And he's like not reacting. Just
housery. We like the housery.
Absolutely.
Of course, today we found out that the Europa League and the Conference League draws and who our teams would be facing. Could teams from England win all 3 competitions? Let's start with the Europa League. Aston Villa, up the Villa. You ruined their party last season, didn't you?
Yes.
They could have been in the Champions League.
Well, all you have to do is beat 15th place Man United. It's not hard, is it?
They've got Red Bull Salzburg at home.
Yeah.
Feyenoord away in the Netherlands. Maccabi Tel Aviv. Yeah. By the way, we got the Europa League anthem underneath us.
Is that what it is at the beginning of it? Oh, it is.
Have they changed it?
It's the extended version.
It's extended version.
Like we say, you get the DJ.
Yeah, I heard this when we beat Man United in the final last time, Flex. So I heard the extended version.
I was picking up confetti for you.
They've got Young Boys at home.
Yeah.
Basel away, Bologna at home, and Go Ahead Eagles away. That looks...
Should be a formality. Of course, there's always some ones where you can trip up.
100%.
You can go to Turkey and get undone by Fenerbahce on any day.
Absolutely.
So he's just got sacked, but difficult game. You've always got to have your wits about you away in Europe. It's not everything's a formality, but Villa, if they're not getting out of that, then something's wrong.
Well, apparently it's really easy to win the Europa League. It's so easy. So I expect an English
teams don't drop down from the Champions League. It's easy.
Yeah, and you don't play teams like Frankfurt or Bodo Glimt in the Champions League. Ironically, for Spurs, we are playing them in the Champions League. Right, Celtic, who are lucky to be in this competition, in my opinion.
Rome struggle.
Roma at home, Feyenoord away, Braga at home, Red Star Belgrade away, Sturm Graz at home.
Midtjylland, yeah.
Yeah, Midtjylland's away.
Marcus Rashford's first game.
Yeah. Utrecht at home, Bologna away. And then you look at Forest. Big for Forest to be back in Europe.
How good is that? I'm so pleased.
That's brilliant for Nottingham Forest. Porto at home, Real Betis away, Fenerbahce, is that how you say them?
Ferencváros.
There you go. Thank you, Flex. Yes. Need someone there. Braga away. Also, they've got your mates again at home. Sturm Graz, Malmö at home, and Utrecht away.
Yeah. Netherlands. I tell you what, there is some difficult games in there. It's not going to be easy going to Betis away. Porto at home is a big game as well, but I fancy them. Again, there's a couple. Those are the 2 off the top of my head that I look at: Porto and Betis. But one of them's at home under the city, lights at the City Ground. Do you know what I mean, against Porto? So I'm having Forest all day for that.
Absolutely.
They're going through.
And then you have a look at let's have a look at Rangers as well. Just a few games of theirs. Roma at home, Genk at home, and some of the away games as well. Looking at Brann away as well.
Ludogorets, Sturm Graz, Ferencváros. Do you know what? I'll be honest with the Scottish teams, Madge. After what we just saw, I know it's Champions League level, but Celtic played Kairat, mate. I know they're a Champions League team now, but they should have been taking care of them. So I don't think we get to give them the grace that the Scottish teams. No. They're going to find it tough. Then
in the Conference League, another Scottish team, Aberdeen.
Yeah.
Shakhtar Donetsk at home, Sparta Prague away, Strasbourg at home, AEK.
Basically Chelsea. That's Chelsea.
Yeah.
Strasbourg. That's all their players.
Yeah.
Whole team, same thing. Bluco.
AEK Larnaca at home, and then Noah away. And then, look, Palace. AZ Alkmaar at home. Dynamo Kiev away. That'll be a big day away for them. Strasbourg away. Kupus Kuopio at home. Larnaca at home and Shelbourne away. Now, Palace, they've got to be looking to win that.
100%.
That is 100%. A trophy for them to win.
And that actually, with all the turmoil that happened and the heartbreak of, them not crossing the T's and dotting the I's to take care of what they needed to make sure they're in Europa League. Being in the Conference League, though, does give them a better chance of actually getting silverware.
Win it, yeah.
And if we get to May and they're in the Conference League final and they win it and then Palace fans get the day out, I'm not going to say it's all forgotten about, but football is about winning things. It's about making history. And Palace actually are doing a really good job at putting trophies in the cabinet
100%.
right now. The charity shields and the community shields in there, and so is the FA Cup.
I'll tell you what, you look at Nottingham Forest, Villa, Palace, etc. The Scottish teams, we won't rely on too heavily at the moment, but especially the English teams, the coefficiency table by the end of the league, you could be looking at some big numbers for the Champions League again next season. And if certain people win and get, promoted up to the Europa League, etc., it's going to be interesting. Of course, in the Champions League, Liverpool, Real Madrid at home, Inter Milan away, Atletico Madrid at home, Eintracht Frankfurt away, PSV Eindhoven at home, Marseille away, Karabakh at home, and Galatasaray away.
I mean,
Liverpool, Madrid under the lights at Anfield. It can't get any bigger, can it?
Liverpool always play Real Madrid.
No.
So Trent's coming back straight away.
Yeah.
It's at Anfield.
At Anfield.
Trent's in trouble, man. If he plays. But, it'd probably be Danny Carvajal playing. But I tell you what, man, Liverpool fans, and that's where it is fair game. When he comes back, all right, is before and after, you might give him a little clap and that. During the game, if Trent's on that pitch, he better be ready.
You forget there's 6 English teams in the Champions League this year.
Yeah.
Crazy. Manchester City, you've got Borussia Dortmund at home, Real Madrid away. They always seem to play Madrid as well.
Seem to play them away.
Bayer Leverkusen at home, Villarreal away, Napoli at home, Bodo Glimt away, Galatasaray at home, and Monaco away.
Even De Bruyne going back straight.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's written.
Scott McTominay going,
Chelsea, they've got Barcelona at home.
Heritage.
Bayern Munich away. Benfica at home, Atalanta away. Not an easy one at all. Ajax at home, Napoli away as well.
Oh, I tell you what, Chelsea, that's not easy.
Paphos at home and then Karabakh away.
Nice.
Arsenal, Bayern Munich at home. Benfica at home. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong one there. Bayern Munich at home, Inter Milan away. 2 difficult ties there.
Recently, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, Arsenal now, I think they've got to grips with being back in top-end Europe. They were Champions League semi-finalists last year, lost to the eventual winners in PSG, went out on a bit of a whimper. They're
going to be main players in the Champions League.
100%. So you're expecting Arsenal to be finished. Some tricky games in there, but they should be in the top 8.
Yeah, Atletico Madrid away, Club Brugge at home, Olympiacos away, Slavia Prague at home. You're looking at that. Right, now, this is interesting, obviously, not just because I am a Spurs fan, but it's Tottenham back in the Champions League.
Who you got?
Borussia Dortmund at home. Of course, decent record with them in the Champions League on that run into the final when we beat them both home and away.
Yep.
Paris Saint-Germain away. And, of course, we've Super Cup recently.
Yeah.
2-2 after normal time. But it was a very...
The only thing is because it's away, though.
Yeah.
Hostile atmosphere, that.
Villarreal at home.
I fancy for that. You'll be fine.
Eintracht Frankfurt away, which we
did
already.
Yeah,
and without Ekatika.
Yeah.
Slavia Prague at home.
Should be fine.
Bodo Glimt away again.
You've done it once, you do it again. Plastic pitch?
Yeah. Copenhagen at home, and this is a nice away trip, Monaco.
Oh, it's nice down the south of France.
Is Eric Dyer at Monaco now?
I believe he is, yeah.
So
there's a lot of returnees. Yeah, there's a lot of
returnees, man. Then the Toon Army, Newcastle, the big one.
Up the Toon.
Newcastle and Barcelona at St. James's Park. It's given us the memories of the big man, Asprilla.
Yeah. Newcastle, and think of Bobby Robson as well, like the ties were there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's insane. I didn't know they had Barcelona.
Yeah.
That's a game, right? I'll be honest. You see, like when PSG went there and they steamrolled them 4-1. But that's an interesting, as a neutral
Newcastle, Barca.
I would love to be, like if you can get some tickets off like one of the brands or something. That's where you want to go to games like that under the lights. That's a proper football match. That.
Then they go to PSG away.
Oh, that's a proper football match as well.
Benfica at home, Bayer Leverkusen away, PSV at home, Marseille away, Athletic Bilbao at home, and then Union SG away. really. And what's how many teams qualify from that first?
It's top 8. You got to get in the top 8, and then 8 to 24 you play the
playoffs.
Yeah, or 9 to 24, but yeah,
difficult.
It's difficult, but there's a few. I think they've all got a good chance of being able to finish in that top 8.
I think.
But when you add in, the problem that you've got is when you add in that, like Real Madrid got to take care of business, Bayern got to take care of business, PSG as the holders, you're thinking taking care of business. There's 3 just off the bat out of that 8. So you go, is it really 5? Is it?
Yeah.
For the 5 English teams to get in. So, but if there's gate crashes, people like Napoli, Atletico Madrid.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? I don't think I included Barca in that as well. So
it's tough.
It's tough.
Very tough.
It's
Of course, talkSPORT will have you covered for all of the European action as and when it happens. Right, next up, we'll be looking at the biggest transfer stories on the talkSPORT website. It's Imagine Flex. This is the talkSPORT Transfer Insiders. Sunshine. I thought I'd let you enjoy a bit of Oasis on a Friday night there. Shout to Daz. He says to me, a talkSPORT radio presenter who can't pronounce the European football team. Daz, come up on here, sir, and have a go at saying some of those quickly. Dearie me. I hope Daz gets 10 out of 10 on all of his tests.
He definitely doesn't.
He definitely does. He set the standard high. Daz, have a wonderful weekend, my friend, and don't forget, all your Premier League coverage will be covered here on talkSPORT by everyone that can announce and pronounce names off the cuff, just like that, my friend. But good news for you, Daz. You can win yourself some tickets. We've got a big competition, and it's the biggest competition to date. It's launched today, and we're giving you the chance to win Oasis tickets, plus a whopping 25 grand 2 lucky winners, not 1 but 2, will win a pair of Oasis tickets when they return to Wembley on the 27th of September. Plus, that's not all. Alongside the tickets, we're giving you the chance to win a whopping 25 grand. For all the details on how to enter this amazing competition, listen up right now.
18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word Oasis to 83338 and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission. Or you can enter for free by calling 0330 880 338. All entries must be received by the 19th of September at 9 a.m. This is a talkSPORT limited promotion run on talkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
And if you're into that competition, good luck. Now, someone that can pronounce all the European teams all around the world from the talkSPORT website is our very good friend, Anil Candola. Good evening, Anil.
Good evening. Happy Friday. I was so excited until you've really raised the bar on my expectation of pronunciation there. Majestic, so thanks a lot, mate. But yeah, I'll give it my best. But I just, you know what? Look, we're going to talk transfers. I just cannot believe how unbelievable this window's been. It feels like an all-timer, and with deadline day now a couple of days away, it is just going to be set up for another barnstorming day.
Do you think the fact that Liverpool got their business done so early just set the standard and set the bar for the... Because if they won the league and they go, right, here we go, they've just moved the bar again. Yeah. So everyone's got to go.
Exactly that. Look, if anyone could have had a bit of time to ease up and relax and almost rest on the laurels, it would have been Liverpool. They breezed the league with ease last season. But look, when you're on top, that's always what they say is the best position to strengthen in. Like you said, they set the precedent. And it doesn't seem like their business is done. Look, as you've already said, they got a lot of big names, big money moves in through the door. And it really doesn't seem like it. Look, we'll start with Mark Gurhey. He's very relaxed about his situation. Of course, he's only got 1 year left with England in his sights, the World Cup at the end of the season. He knows he's going to get the guaranteed minutes at Crystal Palace, so he's happy to see out his contract and, of course, get that nice signing on bonus wherever he goes. Liverpool are still lurking. They're keen on bringing him in through the door, so we'll have to keep our eye out on that one. And, of course, we can't really miss and avoid the saga of the summer, which seems it's going to find its climax one way or the other in Alexander Isak. Now, the reported fee of 130 million is being bandied around, but perhaps Newcastle could soften their stance, of course, with the addition of Voltemada. He's come in at a record fee from Stuttgart. They are still interested in Strand Larsen, Johan Wisser as well. So, as you've already said there's still so many moving parts. There's still so many transfers to keep your eye on. And like I said, we could even be seeing a British record fee anyway, should I say, for Alexander Isak.
Well, what will happen with Isak? Because I just can't see any other way than him going, because how do you integrate that back into a squad with everything that's been said? I know we've seen people down tools before and then go back. We've never seen it at this magnitude, though, have we?
No, and certainly not for a player wanting to move within the country. You know, we've seen the likes of Ronaldo with Man United examples, you know, wanting to move to Real Madrid, and also the likes
Modric going to Chelsea. He got Madrid the year after.
Exactly that. You know, there's so many examples, but when it is still within the same country, it makes it even more fascinating. But like you said, it's become such a toxic situation. I think we do have to take our hats off to Eddie Howe for the way he's handled the situation. He knows he's going to be bombarded with questions every single time he sits in front of the media. But as you've already said, I just think the situation's so far gone. And it's always stayed in my head a little bit that surely Isak has got some form of confirmation, wherever that is or in whatever capacity, that, look, relax, we will get you this move. And I think as we approach that deadline, Newcastle with some new bodies in, I think we could see this British record happen on deadline day.
Spurs hijacked Chelsea. Now Chelsea are hijacking Leeds. Tell us more on that.
Yeah, so Chelsea, another team, you can always rely on them to give us storylines, can't you? Just when you think their spending's going to ease up. I think I've got a few more stories for you. Yes, Chelsea have hijacked that move for Leeds for the Brighton attacker Facundo Buonanotte. Now, we understand here that loan deal has been completed. I just want to get your opinion on this, Flex. Look, Chelsea are bringing in so many players. It seems like a revolving door, not just for players coming in, but also for players coming out. They're also on the verge of a £40 million deal for Alejandro Garnacho. Do you sit on the players' side in this and say it's such an attractive prospect to go to, exciting young team about to embark on a Champions League journey, or do you just think it's a bit of madness to go into such a topsy-turvy club?
It depends on your mindset, right, and your belief in yourself, because let's take Alejandro Garnacho, for example. He's looking at it going, Jamie Gittins is the left winger, come from Dortmund. I fancy myself over him. I'll be all right. But there has to be this acceptance of you can't start throwing your toys out the pram when you're not playing there because there's such competition for spaces. And actually, I was one that at the beginning, listen, I think maybe all of us were there. What's going on at Chelsea? You know, players can't fit in the port cabins. It's ridiculous. It's this, that, and the other. And when you take a step back, though, in fairness to Chelsea, mate, no one's really looking at the players that they're managing to sell. You know, I saw that they've sold like over £200 million worth of players with ease. Yeah. Players that have come in hardly. I saw Renato Vega made one start, mate. They bought him for like 12 million quid. He's gone for like 25. So what we're doing as fans is just seeing them have all these players, and as neutral, and we're forgetting like the players, the money that they're actually receiving, and then also, like you said, Madge, earlier, World Cup champions. Like, in his first season when we all thought, I tell you what, Maresca in from Leicester, what's he going to do? He's going to be sacked by Christmas. Well, he's got them back in the Champions League. He's won the Conference League like he's supposed to, and he's won the Club World Cup. So it's working.
Not bad, is it?
No, not at all. Madge, do you think this is the new era then, in terms of the way that clubs will be operating? They're seeing Chelsea incredibly busy with both incomings and outgoings.
Well, we are seeing the young players around the 21, 22 mark, you know, from Europe getting brought in for sort of big prices and for sell-ons. You know, we look at it almost as a sort of a Chelsea DNA, but in actual fact, it goes back to the likes of Brighton and teams like that actually were doing it before, but at a lower level,
not
in
to this
terms
magnitude.
of the investment.
Yeah.
Chelsea got the resources and the finances to go at the highest level of the most talked about young stars in Europe and doing it. I think the only thing I'd say with that, and of course we've seen the success of the Club World Cup, the Conference League that you said that they should have won. Yeah. My fear for Chelsea is the unsettling on a regular basis of that dressing room and not having a core nucleus that we've always seen with Chelsea over the years. And, you know, for me, I'm building that team around Cole Palmer. That, I make him Mr. Chelsea and let the team grow with him, because I think the reason why Chelsea aren't necessarily up there as title contenders for me yet, I think they'll be in top 4, but I don't think they're going to contend for the title. I just think there's a lack of a leader in there. You know, we see it a couple of seasons ago. Maybe he's not so bad now, arguing over who takes penalties. Yeah. And when you get the young Mavericks, a lot of them all in one room, there's a lot of egos.
It's almost like you need a teacher there to help them. And it starts with, listen, we've been talking about Man United and goalkeepers. You look at Robert Sanchez, you know there's issues there. Levi Colwill, you know, Fofana, who else is there? Trevor Chalobah, Adebayo.
Reece James doesn't look like a sort of...
Get him in shape.
Yeah.
Yeah. And since Thiago Silva's left, actually, they've really missed that.
And that's what I'm saying. And when they won the Champions League last, he was part of that.
Absolutely.
And he was the big part.
Going to need it.
Yeah, absolutely. Palace, they've also agreed to sign French centre-back. Tell us more.
Yeah, they're actually quite busy. You know, I do really feel for Oliver Glasner. Again, another individual who, on paper, should have been rewarded with an embarrassment of riches, given how successful he was last season. You know, historic, not just for him, but also for Crystal Palace, delivering, of course, that really historic day at Wembley against Manchester City. Yeah, they're busy, and finally, should we say, they've already signed that winger from Villarreal, Yeremy Pino, in excess of €30 million. They've also, as you've already alluded to there, the centre-back of JD Canvo. He's already agreed a deal to sign, so we expect that to really ramp up in terms of a confirmation. Look, as I've already just said there, Glasner's done incredible, and we talk about revolving doors, but it just seems to be one-way traffic for all the wrong reasons. All of his players, all of the ones he relies on, just seems to go out the door. He's done an incredible job, and I don't want to make this a Manchester United chat, Flex.
But I know where you're going.
But could this be potentially a name that would entertain your appetite?
Well, he plays the same system, so we'll still see 3 centre-backs, that's for sure, which I just don't want to see anymore, if I'm honest. Look, he's a top coach. He's a top coach, and we can't sit here.
Done it in Germany. Done it in
Germany. Won the Europa League, didn't he? So, you know, you got to give him credit. I really like him. I would say that I really like him. And actually, one thing about Palace, though, what you will say is that there is a revolving deal out the other way. But actually, the signings that they have made, you know, when they've got Munoz, when they've got Richards and Lacroix, he's coming from Germany. He's excellent. You look at when they went to Blackburn and got Adam Wharton out the Championship, like, you know, after telling Elise he needs to stay a little bit, then you get your 50 million for him, you get one more year out of Eze, then Sarr, look at Sarr.
They are doing things very right.
They are doing things right.
You know, after they got it wrong with all those players that were aging and the contracts were wrong, they've really got it right there. Thanks, Neil. I'm sure we'll be talking to you later on as well. 03717 22 3344 is the number to call us. Soon to come, we'll be looking ahead to this week's Premier League weekend, and of course, that big talking point, Arsenal against Liverpool. It's Madge, it's Flex, it is the Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT.
More green jackets have been lost at the 12th than at the Augusta City Dry Cleaners. Rory McIlroy knows this better than most. But what is Amen Corner and why is it so iconic? The famous sequence has always been there since the Masters began in 1934. It didn't get its name until '58 though, when American sports writer Herbert Warren Wint, on the left, wrote, "At the farthest reach of the Augusta National Course, down in the Amen Corner." He drew inspiration from the 1933 jazz song Shouting in That Amen Corner by the Dorsey Brothers. The reason behind its difficulty is all in the sand and the water. Tournament officials don't even bother to count the balls lost in there each year, such is the sheer number. The 11th, named White Dogwood, is a downhill 520-yard par 4 with a pond to the left of the green and a bunker to the right. Both cause a lot of trouble each year. The 12th, Golden Bell, is perhaps the most famous hole in the world, with danger everywhere. Many aim for the flag, but look, get it even slightly wrong, and you're in the azaleas at the back, or the bunkers at the front, or even worse, Rays Creek. Or you can play it safe and aim for the open green on the left, you chicken. Tiger Woods once said, if you make 4 bogeys from Thursday to Sunday, you're doing well. And the highest ever score on that hole? 13. It's a par 3. Tom Weiskopf in 1980 was the sorry soul. Often the iconic Ben Hogan Bridge is the only thing players enjoy about Golden Bell. Even if you escape there unscathed though, you met with Azalea, the dogleg par 5 13th. It tempts players to go for the green in 2, but cut over those trees on the left at your peril. Every year, it seems, Amen Corner destroys someone's dreams. Rory McIlroy dropped 3 shots through here as his round unravelled in 2011. In 2016, a year after navigating Amen Corner expertly, Jordan Spieth shot a quadruple bogey on the 12th to throw away his green jacket. I mean, it sounds like my game, to be honest. So who'll be the next to be brought to their knees, praying for mercy after Amen Corner?
Good evening. It's the Transfer Insiders here on talkSPORT. Still to come, we will be talking about the weekend's Premier League fixtures as Chelsea take on Fulham exclusively live on talkSPORT. And of course, we're going to be talking about that big one, Arsenal taking on Liverpool. The Grand Slam already with us. 3 games into the Premier League. And is it a game that could possibly decide the Premier League? 3 games in, madness. 03717223344. Don't forget, coming up tonight at 10 is all about the Sports Bar Weekender. But right now, it's Madge, it's Flex, it's talkSPORT, it's the Transfer Insiders. Right. Just before we talk about Arsenal and Liverpool, apparently, Flex, Jurgen Strand-Larsen is not at the Wolves team hotel this evening and is expected to miss the game against Everton tomorrow. That's a telling sign, no?
It is. Listen, I know sometimes these things can be passed off as he's got a knock, he's got a bit of a virus, these types of things. But with it, fast approaching deadline day, Monday, 7 p.m., over this weekend, I think there's going to be quite a few omissions from certain squads that are peculiar, to say the least.
100%. Meanwhile, Brazilian side Palmeiras have signed Fulham attacking midfielder Andreas Pereira.
Yeah, I've seen that he's been an unused sub and stuff. Like he's going to be on his way out. Obviously, remembering from his time at United, I thought he's done well at Fulham.
Fulham haven't brought nothing in.
No, they've struggled. They've not really done any business. I think they've got a keeper from France.
One backup goalkeeper.
Yeah. So Marco Silva must be quite.
And they've been doing so well over the last couple of seasons. They felt like they're progressing.
To make that jump, they can be a little bit more ambitious. Go after a trophy. Go deep into some competitions because they're always safe. Can they push for Europe?
Well, especially with
no investment. They can't.
That new stand as well.
Exactly.
Luxurious stand. It's a
club that looks
incredible location in London
Lovely
as well.
By the river, 100%.
It's one of those teams that, thinking of what they had with European success in, recent history. I've said, about 4 times there. But yeah, I'm just thinking back to the
Ask Danny Murphy.
Yeah.
He was there. Steve Malbronk.
And a wicked team, didn't they?
Oh, amazing. Bupa Diouf. And had Pizza Hut on the front of the shirt. Do you know what I mean?
Those were the days as well. 03717223344. Big shout to Daz, who's a big fan of the show, even if he doesn't like my European pronunciation.
He's apologised though.
Oh, Daz, listen.
He says, massive fan of the programme. Didn't mean to offend.
You've not offended.
Some are tricky, and yes, I know all of them, he says. Listen to talkSPORT from when I wake up to when I go to bed. Fantastic. So he's apologised.
And Daz, we love you. It's all love. We only show love on this show. Man United should hire Ange Postecoglou.
No, we should not hire Ange Postecoglou. No.
You might win something.
That's great. No, we've won stuff before at the expense of being a bad team.
Ryan said, explain this to me, Madge. Everyone's saying Arsenal have to win the league this season, yet in the same breath say Liverpool are favourites. Well, which one is it? Surely that means Liverpool have to. Ryan, I think the question is this, isn't it? Arsenal have come so close to winning the Premier League in recent times. And in actual fact, if there was an order of people, like if you had a ticket
they should be
at the deli. Yeah. Last year was their number.
Liverpool weren't supposed to be there.
They weren't supposed to be
Supposed to be some transition season after Klopp. They're probably just about getting in the Champions League, maybe 5th. And they went and won the league, so it looks very bad. I do agree. Do you know what? As much as I love the pressure that is put upon Arsenal, just as a neutral, it's nice to see the meltdown and stuff. But when you take your bias hat off it, right, and just talk football, like there is no divine right to win. Like it is about context. Like if Arteta pushes Liverpool all the way and they lose by 1 point or on goal difference, like he shouldn't get sacked.
Oh no, Arsenal are in an incredible place as a football club right now. But the thing is, when they had Arsene Wenger nicking an FA Cup every couple of years as well, always top 4, that at that point wasn't enough. Because they're going back now. How long has it been since they won the Premier League? About 20 years?
04, yeah.
Yeah, 20 years. Arsenal and the trajectory that they were on at that point with Wenger, the Invincibles, etc.
Yeah.
They set themselves a standard. A bit like Manchester United and now where Man United
That's the expectation.
That's the expectation. So when you're in a position of high expectation, when you don't deliver, it becomes a problem.
I agree.
And then you start asking the questions.
Is he the man to get you over the line?
When I think I think that the problem with this season is Arsenal have gone out and got Gyökeres. It's always been, they've not had a striker. They've strengthened in areas. They've got even better squad players.
Crazy depth.
Crazy depth. Arsenal, if you don't win the league, you failed. No pressure. No. But listen, but again, it depends on what you want for your football club.
Yeah.
And this was always the thing after the, when Spurs won the Europa League and why we went mad, because we've been told you're rubbish, you're nothing, you're a small club, you win nothing. Finally win that trophy. Because I'll be honest with you, under Poch and the football we played and coming to, I was so happy.
You should have come home with something.
But I was so happy. Every week I went and watched Spurs, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's something to be said about just enjoying your football and going over there and maybe falling short. At least you love it. The one thing Arteta has done with Arsenal is they're back in love with their football club.
Yeah.
And he was responsible for that.
100%.
And he has to take a lot of credit for that. And perhaps this is why a lot of people are saying to you guys with Amrim, give him a bit of time. Maybe he needs the transition. I'm sending it to you, aren't I?
A bit. Give me 5 more games.
I said, is it too early for teams to be laying down title markers? But this game right here, let's listen to Mikel Arteta after Bukayo Saka suffered his second hamstring injury in 8 months. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta admits he's concerned.
Yeah, Bukayo is doing better, but he will be out for a few weeks, unfortunately. No surgery. It's not as bad as the previous one. Obviously, very unfortunate to pick it up. He's in the other side. It's an action that requires full power from him. Then he clashes with the opponent. He needs to change pace again, and he felt something. So he will be out for a couple of weeks.
Saka, Odegaard, both out.
Yeah.
This shows exactly why Arsenal have strengthened their squad this summer, and they've done it in a great way.
Yeah, it shows. I think they deserve massive credit. Andrea Berta, the new sporting director, I think is his title, for how aggressive they've been in plugging the holes. I think whether that's, a mixture of Arteta demanding it, Berta coming in and saying this is what I'm about, and maybe that's why Edu left. He deserves massive credit for plugging the holes, because now Arsenal are going to be without, like you said, Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard. And they have big concerns, especially Saka. But instantly, you take your pick of what you want to do. Do you want to put Ethan Nwaneri in there? Do you want young Max Dowman to start? Probably not. But do you want him to? Do you want to put Madueke in? You got a new number 10 in Eze.
He looks good, that Max, though, doesn't he?
He looks excellent.
Unbelievable.
And listen, with the young players, you have to 15, mate. At 15, you have to be very, very careful. Don't put too much on him. Kid's got to do his GCSEs next year. Like, let's relax. But sometimes the kids just show that they're just ready. They're just ready for this opportunity. And the fact that the pathway's there. Look at young Rio Ngamoa as well at Liverpool, 16, just done his GCSEs. So it's exceptional. But yeah, for Arsenal, I think they deserve massive credit to put all the pieces in there. Strengthening again in defence. So look, they've got all the depth they need. They've got the striker that they need, and going to Anfield shouldn't be as scary as a proposition as it once was for us, because the recent record's good there, and it's so early in the season that it's not defined by that. No. But this will be a good measure of where both teams are actually at.
Absolutely. Got a message here from Alan. He said, good evening, Madge and Flex. All the Arsenal fans, again, I want to add some love to you two are bloody great together. And I'm really enjoying the show.
Love that.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate
Regarding Arsenal, another invincible season is on its way. You heard it here first. 100-1 as well with a wink. Oh, and Kev, I'm sorry, mate, because I was one of the players you watched over Southbury Road. God bless. Big up to Alan. I'm not sure the Southbury Road context, maybe something to do with football, playing locally in Enfield. Yeah. Big up to Alan, though. Thank you so much for your message. Invincible season for Arsenal. I think the Premier League's just too good now for that.
You're not getting invincible. No chance.
I don't think that will ever be repeated.
And that's why it's such a special achievement. Like, the Arsenal fans are they're quick to remind treble win. Oh, honestly. As soon as you say... What about the time? What about the time? Have your team got a gold trophy?
That's a good impression. That's a good impression.
You know what I mean? And he hates Sir Alex. He's always saying, why is he a Sir? Has he saved people? That's what he says to me, bro.
Has he saved people?
That's what he says. But... yeah, but listen, that's why the Arsenal fans, really guard that. But I do remind them, it's one trophy. It's one trophy.
Hi, guys. I really want United to get rid of Ruben and go get Nuno from Forest. Exactly the guy we need. Is he the guy you need?
No. Listen, really good manager. Very good manager. But no, not for me.
Liverpool against Arsenal is on Sunday. But tomorrow, 2 former UFC challengers swap the cage for the ring, as Darren Till takes on former MMA world champion Luke Rockhold in his boxing debut. Watch it live this Saturday, only on DAZN.
Boxing Update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing.
Sign up now at dazn.com/boxing.
Thank you very much. Big shout out to Alan. He played for Enfield back in the day. So,
nice. Enfield Town.
Yeah, he used to go and watch them.
Go on, Enfield.
Yeah, that's my local team.
In your local team?
Fields, that's how I used to go.
You like the Willstone Raider? Sort of like...
No feints.
Yeah. You want some?
Here's a little... 03717 22 33 44 is the number to call us if you've got some fans. It is a little thing for you that you might not know. I actually produced his charity single.
Did you produce that song?
Yeah.
I knew there was reasons why you're a legend. You know?
We raised a nice chunk of money for Great Ormond Street Hospital.
Amazing.
Which was fantastic.
Where is he now?
Shall I get him on the show?
Is he about? Yeah. Is he about? So is he still going to Willstone?
He's in the pub in Harris somewhere. I'll tell you what he has done. He's just done a sort of commercial campaign with like Itsu. You've got dim sum. You want dim sum. You want dim sum.
You want dim sum.
03717 22 33 44. We've got loads to come here on the Transfer Insiders with Imagine Flex. Good evening. It is the Transfer Insiders with Madge and Flex here on talkSPORT. Don't forget still to come at 10 o'clock. It's all about the sports bar weekend. I believe it's Catman and Coley, so I'll go with that until I'm told differently. Our biggest competition to date, say that again, our biggest competition today has launched today, and we're giving you the chance to win Oasis tickets plus a whopping 25 grand. That's £25,000 in Terry Tibbs money. 2 lucky winners, not one, but 2, will win a pair of tickets, Oasis tickets, when they return to Wembley on the 27th of September. Plus, that's not all. Alongside the tickets, we're giving you the chance to win a whopping £25,000. For all the details on how to enter this amazing competition, listen up now, our kid.
18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word Oasis to 83338 and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission. Or you can enter for free by calling 0330 880 3338. All entries must be received by the 19th of September at 9 a.m. This is a talkSPORT limited promotion run on talkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
Well, let's look ahead to the Premier League weekend. Of course, let's start with the Saturday 12:30 kickoff. The West London derby, probably the friendliest London derby of all.
Yeah, there isn't that deep-rooted hatred, is there, really? Unless we're missing
debatable from the Fulham fans.
I don't know, like, Chelsea fans don't really seem to... Every time I see that derby come up, it never has, like, the need...
It doesn't have that same...
Yeah, like West Ham does or like Spurs does for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Everyone hates Spurs, basically.
Yeah, basically.
There's every London club against Spurs. So, yeah, 12:30 exclusively live on talkSPORT. Chelsea at home.
They get it done. No, they get it done, Madge.
Got to be favourites, surely.
They get it done. Like, having just played against Fulham, I'll be honest, I know my team wasn't great for large parts, which is why we allowed them back in. But a really good team, or a lot better team than us in terms of Chelsea at this moment in time, I think get it done. They're sort of back to scoring ways against a poor West Ham side. Knock 5 past them. A little bit of a lift, new signings. Esteval as well looks really good. I think, I just think they get it done against Fulham, 12:30 at the Bridge. Quite easily, actually. 2-0.
In recent times, Fulham have had some joy, though.
Yeah, they have. I don't know, I just feel like this time will be different. Fulham have stayed a little bit stagnant. And I haven't really got that buzz, that sort of momentum going into this one. That they would like. Listen, they did get a draw against a rubbish Man United team, but I just feel like Chelsea would get this one done.
Aston Villa, they take on Crystal Palace. It's on Sunday at 7. It's exclusively live on talkSPORT, which means it's interrupting my show with Alan Pardew. The final word is an strange one this week because we're going to be starting at 6:30 to introduce the show, taking the calls, talking about half-time, and then taking calls for an hour. It's going to be a strange show. But Villa against Palace. This is what I mean about the Premier League nowadays, is every game I look at, I think, I'd watch that. And that's the quality that we have in the Premier League right now. Aston Villa need to get their season off to a start, it feels. It's been, a Brentford loss last week, a 0-0 with Newcastle. At Villa Park as well, this is where they start their season.
It needs to be.
Has to be.
It needs to be before, you don't want some of that negative feeling starting to sort of expand. I know they're a little bit down about the PSR situations, and they've lost Jacob Ramsey to Newcastle United, and you see Tyrone Mings and John McGinn sort of talking about it publicly that they don't really it's a PSR-ridden thing. They signed Evan Gasson. They still need more. They look a bit flat, Villa, so they need to get on it. But listen, like we said about Oliver Glasner, stylistically and as a manager, he gets a lot out of his team. Yes, Eze's just gone, but I don't think you put that down to now Palace are going to be terrible and not be an organised outfit. They've just, away from home, they just got a draw against Chelsea. So in the first game of the season. So they're not going to be any pusher. That's an even game. I think that's a draw, mate.
Yeah.
I think that's a draw.
I don't think Villa are going to get their way.
No. What do you think? What do you think the score's going to be?
Again, like I said, a draw. Yeah. Glasnow's got that ability just to...
He does.
Just to play a bit...
Galvanise and found it. I know Eze's not there, and that is a big miss, but I think they'll find a way still.
We take a Gahey will be there, regardless.
I think... Sunday, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be there. Monday morning, he might not be there. He'll be there, though.
Then tomorrow, 3 o'clock, Tottenham Hotspur take on Bournemouth at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I'm going to be there. Bournemouth, they're always a tricky customer.
They are.
They was unlucky against Liverpool, you could say. I know it finished
very unlucky,
4-2, but you could say they was unlucky. Good win against Wolves last week. They're going to be coming there full of confidence. But off the back of a great win at the Etihad for Spurs, the thought of Xavi Simons coming out at half-time, it's going to be rocking over there, I think, tomorrow.
Maybe even begin the game, like serenaded.
Yeah, perhaps, yeah.
The stadium's going to be rocking. I think, you haven't conceded a goal as well. Clean sheets are important.
I think that's one thing Bournemouth were able to do with a vulnerable Spurs side is exploit us on the counter-attack, and I don't think that's necessarily going to be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think the first 15 minutes of intensity from Spurs going forward, setting the tone, I think is we're going to have to get a hold of the game.
Yeah, I mean, look what Areola's done at Bournemouth. He's been fantastic. Look, likes of Semenyo as well. He's been excellent. Evan Nilsson is top up front, but I do feel you're going to have too much for them. I think you get it done.
Do you want to talk about it? Old Trafford.
It's on the running order, mate. It's a game Saturday, 3 p.m.
Burnley confident after that win against Sunderland, a 6-pointer. They've come out on top. They looked good against Spurs for periods of the game, just didn't take their chances. They go to Old Trafford.
Nothing
fearless.
Yeah, they go there.
Scott Parker will be going, if Grimsby can beat this mob, we can.
And, one thing about Burnley is, they're accustomed to defending. They did it really, really well in the Championship and not conceding goals. Obviously, different kettle of fish. They conceded 3 against yourselves, but they were still, even though it was a 3-0 game, they were still all right. They were still all right in that game. Listen, the players, with all the noise of the manager and, like you say, once all the talking stops, the players have got to respond. They need to go out there, and the manager's spoken. I've seen his program notes already saying that, we need to show intensity from the first minute. They have to bounce back. That criminality, that performance that they put in against Grimsby Town has to be long gone. They need to prove that will never happen again.
We'll see how good the manager is at, getting something from his side after a really bad moment.
Exactly.
Over on talkSPORT 2, there's exclusive Championship commentary as Leicester host Birmingham. It's currently 1-0 to the hosts, and we can now join the action with former Fox's Premier League title winner, Michael Brighton, and your match commentator, Jim Proudfoot.
Ball that was fired in, knocked away, and then Patson Daka fires over the bar. And welcome back to listeners on talkSPORT. Still 1-0 to Leicester. Second half has seen Birmingham exert a little bit more control. They've come closest to an equaliser with Furuhashi, an off-balance right-footed volley from inside the penalty area. Excellent technique that went just over the bar, but Stelarcic's had very little to do. Birmingham still with the majority of possession, but not creating the chances that they would want. They're going to be bringing Keshi Anderson on in a moment just to try and shake things up. Leicester have made one change, the impressive 16-year-old Louis Page replaced by Patson Daka, but chances have been few and far between. Mark Albrighton's watching the game with me. Mark, Birmingham probably better now than they have been at any previous stage, but still not creating enough.
Yeah, I think first half an hour was probably Leicester's, bit scrappy in the middle part of that, but and then since then I think it has been Birmingham that have shown more promise. I think towards the back end of the first half, the start of the second half, they've really been on the front foot. They've created a couple of chances, the volley that you talk about, and a couple of others as well, and it's a bit more encouraging. Leicester have made a sub already, tried to freshen things up. Birmingham City now going to do the same with Keshi Anderson, and he will come on and liven things up a little bit for them.
So Anderson is coming on for Willemsen. Anderson coming onto the left-hand side. Willemsen had been playing on the right, so Damari Gray is got to swap flanks. He's been consistently booed throughout the course of the evening as he returns to his old stomping ground, but he has had moments of danger. The game continues live over on talkSPORT 2. We're just shy of the midway stage of the second half. Leicester have led for nearly an hour. They're 1-0 up.
Thank you very much, Jim. We're still to look at all of the big top transfer stories as well as some of those other Premier League games. It's Majestic, it's Flex, it's the Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT. This is the Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT. I'm Majestic. Alongside me is Flex, and this is your whistle-stop tour of the biggest transfer news of the day. We'll be right across all of the movers and shakers as we approach deadline day, and our chief football correspondent, Alex Crook, gave us the big transfer stories of the day.
Tottenham have finally solved their attacking midfield conundrum. They've signed Xavi Simons from RB Leipzig in a deal worth more than £50 million. Chelsea have been keen on Simons as well, but ultimately decided not to pursue their interest with a formal bid. I think partly because they've agreed a £40 million fee with Manchester United for Alejandro Garnacho. He's set to sign a 7-year contract and might not be the only arrival between now and Monday at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea also in talks with Brighton over Facundo Buonanotte. That would be a loan deal. Brighton not keen to sanction a permanent exit for Buonanotte.
That was Alex Crook's talkSPORT's chief football correspondent giving us the news today. Of course, that Xavi Simons signs with Tottenham Hotspur. Big move for Tottenham, getting the player, and of course, what seems to be taking under Chelsea's nose makes it just a little bit better for Spurs fans.
Yeah, and the Chelsea fans are saying, listen, we didn't bid, we didn't want this player, which I think they're just saving face a little bit. You did. You don't agree personal terms with someone you don't want.
This is very true.
I don't understand that. But from a Spurs perspective, I feel like you had to show something after the sort of humiliation and the public embarrassment with what happened with Eze. You needed to react, and you needed to react fast because time's ticking and Thomas Frank needs players. And actually, as good as the reaction goes, it looked like Xavi Simons was set to go to Chelsea throughout pretty much all of summer.
That's what I've seen.
You've gone in there.
I never even thought it was a target.
Exactly. And you know why as well, Madge? Doing medicals in like the late hours, quick stuff. This was all like very hush-hush. You know, Ornstein said this is happening. By the morning, he was your player.
Do you think we learnt from Arsenal?
I think you did. And as a Spurs fan, you must look at that and say, you know what? At least we've just been embarrassed, but you're going to show intent to go and get us some players and get it over the line quickly. No drawn-out saga process.
I
Just go get it done.
still think as well there's a couple more to come in before the deadline day on Monday.
Yeah, well, I saw that Spurs were linked to Manuel Kanji. And
yes,
that would be a fantastic move because, again, I'm not saying that he actually probably wouldn't even walk in and start over Romero or Van der Ven for sure. But the depth, mate, you need the depth. You know, Dragason's not. Is Dragason still there? He isn't.
He's recovering from, like, I think, an ACL or something.
Oh, right, it was a long injury. Yeah. Right, so you need that. You got Kevin Danso there as well, but you're hoping to play 50-odd games this year, mate. So this
is it. And we know, regardless of last season under Ange, and possibly you could blame his tactics, Romero and Van der Ven's injury history go across the last few seasons does not look good.
Yeah.
So you definitely need strength and depth in those areas. Alejandro Garnacho and Buonanotte to Chelsea, the fella from Brighton. Garnacho, let's talk about him first, because a player that you know very well as a Manchester United fan.
Yes. I'll be honest, I'm not one of these Man United fans that thinks Garnacho was a poor player. He's terrible, and he's not going to be anything. I actually think he's a good young player. Has he got things to learn? Absolutely. Has he made mistakes? Absolutely. But actually, I think being played in his natural position, high and wide out on the left, with Chelsea getting the ball to him quite quickly, you know, through the thirds. When Chelsea are at it, when you're winning the ball back quickly through a Caicedo, and then you're moving the ball quickly through the thirds from a Cole Palmer, and he's stroking it out to the left, that will suit him down to the T. The only concern I do have, which is more going to be an observation when it happens, Madge, is when the going gets tough at Chelsea. So when, you know, they've got Barcelona in the Champions League, etc. If he feels he should be starting games that he's not,
Sulky Sue.
How does he respond to that? Because the evidence and the history of that is not great. Yeah. So he has to deal with that a lot better. His brother sort of talking on social media, then he's liking, posing. He's had a lot of mishaps.
A lot of passive-aggressive.
Yes, and that's going to have to... Because I tell you what, Enzo Maresca ain't
He's not going to be having that at all.
So, but I wish him all the best, and I think he'll do well there.
Buonanotte from Brighton.
Mate, I don't understand that at all.
It's a loan deal as well.
Loan deal. I was thinking they were going to just buy him and send him to Strasbourg, knowing Chelsea. But, you know, he came on the scene at Brighton. You're thinking he's got a bit.
Yeah.
Didn't quite work out. He's at Leicester. It's not really working. Chelsea, I just don't see him having much game time. And they've gone from Xavi Simons to him. Now, to be fair, people questioned when they got João Pedro and thought, is that the one? And he started like a house on fire. So maybe we got a reserve judgment, but if I was a Chelsea fan and I saw that we were in for Xavi Simons, but in inverted commas, we didn't want him, and now you've gone and got Buonanotte instead, I'd be underwhelmed.
On Chelsea, Raheem Sterling is still at Chelsea. Ben Chilwell is still at Chelsea. Are they going to leave the club before Monday's deadline? Sterling was surplus to requirements last season. He knew that. You know, he went. Yeah. The problem is, he failed to deliver at Arsenal. Where can someone of Raheem Sterling's ability and levels go to?
People will say he's cooked and he's finished and he's done.
I don't agree with that.
I agree. I don't agree with that. I think if he gets the appetite back, that's what I mean. Now, bearing in mind, he's been, playing at the highest level for a very, very long time, since 17 at Liverpool, maybe a little bit younger. So he's been excellent. He's one of the most decorated English players there's been. We forget that, and I don't think he gets the respect he deserves half the time, but he has played a lot of football. And I think this 2-year sort of stagnation period has come for him. Won't have been easy for him to deal with. I still believe that he can be a Premier League player, not at the top team. So the Arsenal situation wasn't the one for him. But I've seen him linked with Fulham and teams like that. I think he can do a job in the Premier League. I think he just needs to just find somewhere where he can get his feet under the table and just and get comfortable again and get that confidence back again. Because Raheem Sterling's got a wealth of experience. He's won it all, and he can be a top player, just not at the highest level, maybe competing for trophies in the Premier League anyway. But I think even in Europe, I don't know if that's where he wants to go, but there's teams that he could go and play in the Bundesliga, go and play in Italy. And I don't know if he's ready to take the step to a Saudi or an MLS. Obviously, he can go and play there. But in terms of Premier League, he's got bags of experience. I think he can do bits.
Absolutely. I just hate this idea of writing off our players that we've seen dominate the Premier League for 13 years. Just be,
he's done. Yeah.
I don't think that's the case. There's some news as well coming out of Bayer Leverkusen flex with Arsenal involved.
Oh.
Yeah. Piero
Hincapié.
Yeah. He's had the here we go treatment.
Oh, he's had the here we go treatment.
Although I'm scorned by the here we go treatment. I go to bed having nightmares of here we go. Here we go. I have nightmares because of that. Fabrizio Romano apparently a deal in place with Bayer Leverkusen after the agreement done with the player for a fee worth £52 million. More spending coming out of Arsenal.
Yeah.
They have to win the league.
I mean, look, Jack, what we can't do is question Arsenal's defensive reinforcements. Last time I checked, they got the best defence in the league, statistically. So, they've got it all right. They're covered from all bases. At left back, you've got Lewis Skelly and Calafiori. At right back, you've got Timber. You've got Ben White. You've got Mascara who can play out there. I think this guy can play at left back and centre back as well. I've seen. So it does seem like quite a lot to pay for another backup centre back, but let's have it right. When Gabriel got injured last season, when they're about to play Real Madrid, and you're thinking, oh my God, the drop off to Kivio is going to be too much. Like he came in and done all right, but you have to invest in these type of players if you want to compete on all fronts and just be the big dog.
This is what we're talking about.
You have to do it.
This is what we're talking about. Akanji to Spurs.
Exactly. You need to level it, and it has to become less about where's he going to play. Well, what's going to forget that. I need depth and competition for places. And listen, Saliba and Gabriel is a serious competition for places. No one played many games. Them. But listen, Arsenal and defensive signings under Arteta have all been hits. Pretty much.
Yeah, so, he's been good in that area.
Get it wrong.
Don't forget the transfer window slams shut at 7 p.m. on Monday, and talkSPORT will keep you up to date with all of the last-minute deals on Deadline Day Drive with Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent from 4, and that'll be followed by a Deadline Day special from 6:30 with Mr. Deadline Day himself, Jim White, our chief football correspondent, Alex Crook, and former England midfielder Danny Murphy. Coming up next, more transfers. Day. Now the big name dominating. Now the big name dominating the summer is Newcastle want-away striker Alexander Isak, and talkSPORT transfer reporter Anil Kandola gave us the latest on what could be the biggest deal of the window.
The reported fee of 130 million is being bandied around, but perhaps Newcastle could soften their stance, of course, with the addition of Voltemada. He's come in at a record fee from Stuttgart. They are still interested in Strand Larsen, Johan Wissa as well. So, as you've already said there's still so many moving parts. There's still so many transfers to keep your eye on. And like I said, we could even be seeing a British record fee anyway, should I say, for Alexander Isak.
Well, it will take a British record fee to get Alexander Isak out of Newcastle into Liverpool. There's so many questions about this. First and foremost, do Liverpool need him, is the question.
Yes. I know people think they don't, and they're saying, well, you need a centre-half. You need this. You've got Ekitike now. You don't need Isak. They do need a centre-back, by the way, so they have to make sure they get that. But just because we're talking about Isak, when you're at the top and you want to stay at the top, like I was saying about Arsenal, it doesn't matter about what's going to happen with him now. Who's he going to... Isak is a top draw centre-half. Centre forward, sorry.
You've got
maybe they might have to play him centre half if they don't get one. He's a top draw centre forward, and he's Premier League proven now. He's better than Ekitike. Let's not do any of this because Ekitike scored a few goals. If you put Isak up front for Liverpool, it's problems. Is there things for Arne Slot to have to sort out? That the fact you can't just do a PSG and have all these Mavericks playing, or the Galactic. It does have to work. I get that. And maybe they can't play in the same team, or maybe Ekitike might have to go out left and there's an adaptation period. But if I'm a Liverpool fan and I got the chance to get Alexander Isak, I ain't saying don't need him anymore because Ekitike scored 3 goals. They want to compete for everything. And they want to be kings of Europe again, get 7th European trophy, win a 21st Premier League title, which I can need that not to happen. But as a neutral looking at it fairly, mate, that's a scary sight. Do you know what I mean?
That's then dominating for the next few years.
Exactly. That's raising the bar even higher. So 100%.
And it's protecting themselves for that post-Salah, post-Van Dijk
100%. Well, and also just having one top striker, because, Darwin Núñez is gone. Luis Diaz is gone. Obviously, really, really awful what happened with Diogo Jota. We can't forget that. They need to reinforce. If someone if Ekitike gets an injury, or Isak gets an injury, you need players, mate.
You mentioned the centre-back situation with Liverpool. Should that not be their priority? Go out and get Guéhi.
Well, like I said, obviously the priority kind of all summer has been this Isak thing, so it's not a new thing. You got to get it done, but they have to get a centre half, mate. You can't try and compete on all the fronts and have Endo as your backup centre back, who's a central midfielder, or Gravenberch. No. It's not going to work. I'm surprised they've left it this late. If they don't get Guéhi, I'll be stunned. Or they don't get a centre half. Maybe they might come in late for Akanji themselves.
Yes, true.
I don't know why they don't just do that. They need centre backs, because you talk about how
maybe Man City see Liverpool's too much of a threat,
and that too. Actually, maybe they just say no and block it. But they need centre backs.
Speaking of Newcastle as well, of course, there's so many moving parts. Now, if Isak does go, Jurgen Strand Larsen, Johan Wissa, both been linked. Could either of them or both of them join, especially if you're going to go and get 130 million, for example, you go and get both of them?
I mean, from a Newcastle United perspective, listen, Isak is after Haaland, and depending on who you speak to, the second best striker in this league. So anyone that you get after him, you basically say is a downgrade. However, Voldemada's coming. It looks like he's nearly there. He's very highly coveted. He's a young player on the up. And Strand Larsen, let's be honest, he scored 12, 14 goals, I think it was last year in a really poor Wolves side. And looking at the likes of Johan Wissa, to use that money from Isak, potentially 120 odd million pounds, to go and get those two. And I trust Eddie Howe and I trust the scouting. That's one thing I do think Newcastle United gets spot on, is the characters they get in there.
Yeah, they don't rush.
They don't rush, and they definitely haven't rushed it, and they've been trying to get the right players in. I think they could be onto a winner. I do.
I think, again with them, Champions League football, they want to return again. They've won a trophy last season. We keep talking about this squad depth and how many games there are. You need big players at that club, all understanding that they're fighting for the same cause.
There shouldn't be this comfortability of like, I know I'm the main man and I'm playing. I know certain players are so good that is that, but with teams like Newcastle, there does need to be that hunger and that rotation because they're going to play an awful lot of games. And when they have to start managing, we saw it last time they was in the Champions League. They struggled, didn't they, a bit?
Yeah.
Mixing the how physically demanding and draining it was with those big nights in Europe, and they got robbed in the end. To be fair, they come bottom of the group, but they shouldn't have. It takes its toll on the league form, and then they're going to have a decent season last year when they're not in it. So we know they're going to be back to that square one again. So they need to have these competition for places.
Yeah, and this is the time for them to do that.
Yeah, and it's exciting times.
Money.
And actually, listen, I'll hold my hands up. I've been, sticking the needle in. They're getting rejected again. This, that, and the other. There's only one United. It's not you. It's Man. Listen. People are forgetting, actually, Newcastle United have actually made some good additions. Jacob Ramsey's a good signing.
Big time.
Anthony Elanga, we've seen, fits them stylistically.
One of your boys once upon a time.
Absolutely. So he's a good signing. And you look at what's going on with in the goalkeeping situation. You've got Aaron Ramsdale there on loan. That's a good sign. I know they signed the defender Thiaw from AC Milan. So they have actually, it's gone under the radar, but have actually made some good signings as well. And these two, if they get them over the line, will be really good for Newcastle United fans.
Yeah, and as you mentioned before, especially with Vissa, someone that knows the league.
Yeah, exactly. He's a tireless worker. Ironically though, he's done what Isak's done to try and go to them. He's taken down all his Brentford pictures. He's gone on strike. He's got a black square on his social media. Like he's really gone in to try and join them, which is really ironic considering how Isak's leaving Newcastle United.
It's been a real big transfer window. Lots of money spent. Is it simply on the back of the pressure of the league and what's expected of teams? As I said before, I think Liverpool doing their business so early and making statement signings, spending statement money. Do you think that's added on pressure to all these other clubs around?
Yes, it's raised the bar. It's raised the bar because if you can see somebody strengthening so well from a position of power, if you want, you got to keep up. You're already trying to bridge the gap to get par with Liverpool and how good they was last year. When you see them go straight away and get Frimpong 35 million, Kirkhead's 40 million, Vert's British transfer record, they're now looking at again to smash that. Ekitike. When you see that type of business from a position of strength, like you said, the chasing pack when you're Arsenal, when you're City, look, people going under the radar as well. With City did our business early as well, getting in 8 euro. He's got an injury now. Fantastic. Reindeer's going to go under the radar. They were completely untested for him, uncontested for him to bring his services into the Etihad. You look at Ryan Cherki, only 40 million quid from Lyon. I think that could be a real bargain. Everyone's got to up the ante, and it happens every year in the Prem, doesn't it, Madge? Like, the stakes just get higher and higher and higher, and then we see these windows every year pretty much, and we're like, can't wait for the Prem this year. Everyone, they've got this player, this got that player. I can't believe he's gone there. The stakes just get higher and higher and higher.
396 million euros is the total market value of their arrivals, Liverpool.
Jeez.
Wow.
That is big money.
That is a serious number. And again, as you say, when the guys at the top are doing that, and, sorry to break your heart, mate, but we hark back to the United dominance, the Sir Alex Ferguson. Yeah. What's he do when he needs a striker? He goes and buys the best one in the league.
Go and get Van Persie.
Go and get Van Persie.
Yeah.
Wins
go and
you the
get
league.
Berbatov. Go and get this. Go and get that.
Yeah.
Go and get Tevez. Do you know what I mean? And that is what it is. But with Liverpool, though, you've got to remember they didn't spend the year before. So they've been sitting on this as well, by the way. And they've sold really well. Look what they sold Diaz for. Look what they sold Nunes for. Look what they sold Jarell Quansah for to Leverkusen. So they've actually had some good sales, and Harvey Elliott money probably still to come in there as well. He's going to be the best part of 40 to 50 million. So there's guys there that they're selling that actually, when you look at the net spend at Liverpool, mate, they're still. I know that's a big total that you put there, but when you look at the money that's come in,
absolutely,
it's brilliant how well run Liverpool
They've done very well. Speaking of your club, bid's been accepted for Anthony from Real Betis for about 25 million.
What are you laughing at? That's the best. That's good business, mate. Do you know what I mean?
What did you spend for him? 80. Yeah. Oh my god.
And then I was sort of saying how good it is that we got like a 50% sell-on clause, but it isn't quite.
And then also United agree a deal with Napoli for Rasmus Højlund, season-long loan with a significant fee, plus a conditional obligation worth 44 million euros, triggered if Napoli qualify for the Champions League.
Yeah. So come on, De Bruyne, come on, Scott, get them back in the Champions League.
I think Højlund's going to do well at Napoli.
I do. I do. He's going into a stable environment, winning manager, people to learn off, less pressure in terms of
counter-attacking football.
Counter-attacking football, getting fed by, Kevin De Bruyne. You've got Billy Gilmore there, and you've got
the best in the world, Scott McTominay.
Scott McTominay's MVP, best player in Serie A, mate. That's what he is.
He looks like a film star now as well.
He's got aura.
Yeah.
He's got silk shirts and cigars. Scott.
Before he was having battered Mars bars and Iron
exactly.
in Old Trafford.
People couldn't wait to run him out of Old Trafford. Mate, what a story. I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, and he was so dismissed, and he saved Ten Hag so many times.
Oh, my God, he come off the bench the season before last, sorry.
Every time.
Honestly, mate, I don't know where we would think. Yeah, he really, really did. He really did. So for Rasmus Højlund to go there under some real winners there, and Romelu Lukaku to come back when he is fit, and he played in Serie A as well already at Atlanta, so I think he will do well there.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Flex. This has been the Transfer Insiders. Thank you for listening across the summer. The transfer window shuts on Monday at 7 p.m, so don't forget to tune in to Deadline Day Drive from 4 p.m. and the Deadline Day Special at 7 p.m, and you can catch the podcast of this show on Apple, Spotify, Acast, or wherever you get your podcasts. Coming up next here on talkSPORT, it's the Sports Bar Weekender with Adam Catchell and Carlton Cole from Imagine Flex. Good night.
As Lewis Hamilton, now at Ferrari, dares to dream of a record 8th F1 world title, the Tifosi will be hoping the Brits can bring glory back to Italy. To many, Ferrari and Formula One are inseparable. They're the only team in the sport today to have competed in the first World Championship in 1950.